Oi, oi. Welcome back to Martin Leaker channel. Good to see you again today, guys. This is a flatter day late on a fun day, which is much better. Let me just check my comms in order and we're going to get underway. Super smashing great. Good to see you guys bringing the higher vibration, bringing the energy to the gathering tonight to witness many epic things. Tonight, it's called The Absolute Juice because I've got a collection of photographs. I'm going to be probably sharing somewhere in the region 600 images tonight. But if they make me say wow, they're going to make you say wow. And there's a ton of images in here tonight that got wow factor. So we're going to go through all that together. First, we're going to look at some vintage photographs for clues about Tartaria. The narratives, the official story makes no sense. Missing peoples, Antiquity everywhere, just most fantastic architecture, old world stuff. We're going to go through all of that at the beginning of this post. We're going to look into Starforts and a clue about Starforts and old coinage. We're going to look into stoned people who live forever, encased in stone. And later on, towards the end of this show, before images of the day, I'm going to share with you a collection of images that are colorized, but they are very mind-blowing. And that will be later on in the show. And they are concerning some sensitive subjects, especially even in the modern day, concerning some of the really hideous events of World War II. And we're going to look at that. We're going to do a clue hunt, okay? And we're going to look at patterns. In some pictures, I'm bound by what I can say. So we will let our eyes, do the work for us. What we see, say what you see, okay? Because some of these pictures do not fit with the official paradigm or the official story for the war. Okay, so we're going to look at all that later. It's mind-blowing anyway. So that's what we're going to be doing this week. It's been an epic week this week. I've got a new video made. That was absolutely fantastic. That by Christopher Sibarats. Man, that was just... We'll have a look at that later. And I'd also been doing a review on the Spooky 2 machine. You can find that on my channel. I'm going into healing using a Rife machine, which is a highly interesting subject concerning frequency and healing. So I'll be looking into that as well. I'm going to look into some of the weird events of the current paradigm, just cause I'm not really interested or investing my energy into it or give a shit. But it's worthy of talking about because the clown show is nothing but that. So I will comment on some of it, and that's what we're going to look at. You into that? It's the absolute juice. Make sure to share this out. Allow me to take you on a time travel, okay, through history. That's right. So just relax and let Martin take you on a roller coaster ride. See, I really like that cowboy look I got on the thumbnail. I definitely think that I should go full cowboy. I was a cowboy when I was a kid. Anyway, it's like I literally had the holsters with the guns. You couldn't take them off me. Literally thought I was a cowboy. So suits me. Also, the admiral of a Tartarian fleet, to get us out of here. I so love that. I love it so much that I actually looked into the feasibility of having an air fleet and what would they do to stop it. And, well, you don't ask them, you don't ask permission, absolutely nothing. You got to tell the FTA permission. Oh, do I? What will they do? Sending jets to machine gun our balloons? No, I don't think so. We'll have countermeasures. So, I'll be looking into that as a, feasible. I thought it was an absolutely brilliant idea to have a balloon fleet. Man, imagine that. Anyway, envision Tartaria and all that groovy stuff, and that'll come in the future. But there's no such thing as a future because there's only nows, but you know what I mean. We'll get there eventually. So let's give a few of you shouts. Magzavelli's in the house. Good to see you, sweetness. Ben, merci beaucoup. Vanilla Skies by Altered Images. Is there a song by Altered Images called Vanilla Skies? I don't know that. I know Altered Images. Claire Grogan. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Super annoying. Oh, good to see you, Uno. What's happening? Flat traveling in time. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go flat traveling. They had portal technology in the past. We're going to, where it'll be there again, I guess, in one day, which would be brilliant for visiting people. So I'm going to piss around with all their weirdness, or go on a balloon. But balloons, they're not very good in force 10 gales. It's just weather. I think about the weather. So, David Jones, this is what we're doing tonight, bros. And vibes. Okay, we're living on one another and saying hi. So, yeah, it's been a crazy busy week, Time Dale. But that's what we're doing tonight. To end the week off, we're going to look at a real load of good, juicy picks. And use, the Emperor's New Clothes is definitely the topic, because, it's the elephant in the room, man. It's just like they can't, even with their official narrative, what I'm showing you, it's just, whatever. It just makes no sense. Nicola! Love today's name. Oh, yeah, what's my today's name? Oh, yeah, Captain Marticus von Singer-Song. That's who I am today. We've got Nicholas in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here on a Sunday night. So, yeah, beautiful day yesterday in Wales. It's been really rubbish, like cold all winter, and then suddenly pretty weather. It was like, yay. Jay, what if loads of old pictures were from outer lands? Well, I considered that because, there's two different sizes to the statue of, for the, the tower, Eiffel Tower. So I was wondering whether, why build one when you could build two? If the one's here on this bit of the plane, I just replicas, and the originals, like the original New York and the original Paris and whatever, are in another place. I had considered that, the photos of another place, just replicated, even the street plans. Why not? So yeah, good thinking, Jay. Love that. Love that. Have thought about it. So yeah, we're going to stuck into the images early tonight because I've got a lot to get through, guys. Linda. So yeah, make sure to get whatever you need. Relaxy-vous. And I'll do the entertainment. But later on, it's going to be like, honestly, there is some sort of emotional effect looking at some of these later pictures. I will fluff it up with some happiness along the way. But later on, and I will look at them because, this is a history channel after all. And some of the pictures have, are just mind-blowing. So we'll have a look at that later. So Hugh's here in the house, and he's telling us something. So he went to the bank to borrow some cash. The teller said, sorry, the loan arranger is not here. No worries, I said. I'll speak with Tonto. That's so silly. The loan. I can speak Arapaho. Tongwakatangiangi. I could go further into it, but I was a big Lone Ranger fan. So I did have a Lone Ranger horse, doll, and a Tonto as well. It's not normal when they make a stew. So yeah, big love to you all. I hold silver away right into tomorrow today. And who was that mask man? I said, if you look at the beginning of the, the beginning titles to the Lone Ranger TV series, if you look really closely behind the bushes where Lone Ranger and Silver are galloping, you can see a US tank. I shit you not. I was like, every single Saturday when it came on, I was like, well, there's a tank. Can anyone see it? Well, the horse was chasing. Really silly. Anyway, you might want to look for yourself. I can't wait to hear of Virginia. Welcome to you, lovely, as well. Thank you for being here. Okay, well, that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to have a ride through Antiquity, which is what I really like to do best. And if I enjoy these images, I'm sure you will too. So I'm happy to share. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're doing on a flat day night. So yeah, like I said, there's loads to share later on concerning things that are ongoing and everything else. And excuse me, and I will fill you in with all that later. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to start here. Right, we're going to look at some vintage photos from the 1800s to the, well, in this case, look in the 1930s of the American city of Memphis. Long distance information calling Memphis, Tennessee. So Memphis, Tennessee is not the Wild West. like in any regard. You will see now. So I talked about Memphis a few years ago concerning, obviously, it's got the same name as the complex in Egypt, and a lot of the area has got a lot of names which you could think like it's something to do with Egypt. So a lot of people think that the original location of Egypt and all these biblical events and everything was actually in America and not where they say in the sandy place. So yeah, let's check this out in a beautiful stone, that tower. I see a few of these in the UK like this, but these columns here as well, really amazing workmanship on that building. So yeah, it doesn't look very Tennessee, not what I would imagine of Tennessee. So there's them building the bridge. It is incomplete. I have seen that in the past in in operation in the modern day, I guess. So yeah, they got a lot of Tartaria. This is earlier back. You can see horse and cart day, and look at the size of these buildings. And what do you think the bell is for up on the roof? Call them into work, maybe. All in, a bottle of gin. Why didn't they put the bell in the bell tower? Or no, because it's a belfry, isn't it? Hasn't got a bell in it. It's there instead. Makes little sense. What about this one? It's a little bit different to that one, isn't it? It's got pillars and a door. I wonder what goes on in them bits. But yeah, except for the bell, perfect symmetry in what you find in these buildings. I can see just at the bottom here the tops of lower windows. You can just make them out there. So yeah, wow, in Tennessee they all look like this. Stallion Road with Ronald Reagan and Alexis Smith. So yeah, he's a strange one, wasn't he? Ronald Reagan. They found his brain in the walnut dish. I think he should have stuck with his first girlfriend or his first wife. He was with Jane Wyman, wasn't he? She seemed half normal and then ended up with Nancy. I don't know what happened there. Mind control, probably. But yeah, he was a bit of a weirdo, man. I got a photograph of him. He goes around schools in basically his budgie smugglers talking about like keeping fit and stuff. It's like, ooh, really weird. And then he's a cowboy, and then he's president of the United States of America. Okay. Anyway, they got rid of him in the end because he went a bit dotty, didn't he? So look at the size of this place out in a shitty road. I just can't get my head around it, right? So you can see, dig, right, guys? Like literally dig. This is the pavement, okay? And this person here is what, 3-4 foot below the pavement on the road, because the road is mud, okay, and is just non-existent. So there's no infrastructure as roads, yet they managed to build that building. So how did they drag all the glass there on horse and cart and all of the stone necessary to build this massive building on that? And look at the size of the dome doors as well for the Wielded Giants. And it looks like it's sloping down, mud flood affected, but look at that, guys. Memphis. See, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It just does not fit. What about that? Do you know what I see? I see an airship coming in and plugging straight in. That's what I see. That looks like a plug socket. Apart from that, it looks identical to the Fasces looking down on it. It's that sort of technology. The towers seem to be missing. I'm not seeing a church here. I'm seeing a device with the technology taken out. I'm seeing things missing here where these holes are, things missing here, and the mechanism is just missing. But it's not from the 1800s, guys. I don't know. It's just super old building. It looks it too. Look at these. I bet a lot of these big old skyscrapers with the Phoenician statues on the top are old world, you know. We got evidence in Bologna and other places that they had massive skyscrapers in the past. Why have you got to presume that they were new? And look at the size of the door again. I think they were there before with a huge population. So this is the Grand Ole Opry, the famous Grand Ole Opry, where all of the famous blues singers and everything else. Yeah, man. The size of them stones as well. It's that granity stuff. But yeah, the Grand Ole Opry. I've actually talked about I'd like to go to Memphis, to the Grand Ole Opry. And there it is back in the day. Look at that. That's very atmospheric, isn't it? Look at that. So it was really beautiful city with all of the waterfalls, fountains, Phoenician fountains. And walking on there. You wouldn't be able to go in the water, though, in the modern day, because that would not be permitted. Not allowed. So how old's this building? Built in the 1800s. Why is it covered in stuff? Like caked in stuff. Why? Age. What is it? The Industrial Revolution. What dirt is these things? There's no cars around. Makes no sense. And all of they got no lawn or nothing outside of this classical building. It's just all rough and messed up. In fact, looking at that, it looks like a post-Armageddon building that hasn't been touched for a long, long time. So the photographs got taken. That's why all the windows open. It's just everything don't fit. Vanilla skies, just old world. Look at this. And that's what you see a lot of as well, is these Tatarian buildings. They're absolutely beautiful. Again, elevated front doors, because they always got lower levels on these beautiful Tatarian style buildings. Look at that one. Dun, 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 dun. It's like the Munsters, isn't it? But wow, look at the effort they made. See lower windows there. So there's a big sub-basement in that. They would all would at that period. Big, massive bay windows. Just amazing, isn't it? Wow. So yeah, this church, right. Remember, we're in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah, and it looks like, I don't know, Bury in England or something. It looks Anglican. But what are these? Where's the clocks? And why would you put them there if they're not there doing anything whatsoever? I can't get my head around what they were. So I think that there was some device there at some stage, and it's all just been taken away, and these have been filled in, because you wouldn't have these here. You see a lot of them. You see a lot of them just blocked up where it's like, oh, we planned to have 4-face clock tower, but we run out of money narrative. That's what they said for Cardiff anyway, or Whitchurch Hospital. I'm guessing that is a church, but sometimes they're an armory, and the armories are castles. Look at that. It looks like a castle, doesn't it? You see it's a church, but church with castellations and like battlements. No people. There's very lack of people in any of these photographs. I'm interested in this building next to it as well. You can just make out the Greco-Romano top on it. It's just, what the hell? From like 1800s Memphis. Look at that. Like, it is the Munsters' house, isn't it? Like Norman Bates' house. Or like ginormous stone. And look at all of that on top of the tower, on top of that. All the Antiquity. Decoration or purpose? Well, not that many people in the modern day look up, I've noticed, because I'm always looking up, you see, when I'm in cities and towns. I'm always looking up to see above the eye level what's happening up there. Well, that's where the old world is. And nobody else ever looks up, I've noticed. Hardly ever. So I'm guessing that's the fire station. So I'm not actually sure if Memphis got destroyed by an American city fire. Whoa. Just mental. Look at the size of this. So yeah, elevated front door. Why wouldn't you have it on ground level? And let's have a look at the bottom windows. Oh dear. And like, you know, retaining wall right deep as well, these ones. So that's the telegraph office. Massive windows, all that Phoenician decoration, but the juice is always at the top, where like no one's really looking up and no one's really seeing it. So I think that's so you can witness it from an air balloon. You could probably just land your small air balloon outside and just jump off. I bet it was just like that. Personal air balloons. I'm sorry, I just don't know what to make of this one. This is like Memphis, Tennessee, guys. And what exactly is this? So we got like a Italian tower, an Anglican Baptist church, this strange bit here and this strange bit here. I don't know what to make of it. It's just a hodgepodge of different styles. And look, it's really old, by the way. Another Munster's house. Wow. So how come it's so Tartarian in Memphis? Isn't that where Elvis comes from? Yeah, I think so, isn't it? Wow, look at the lower window, yes. And you can see it's an arch on it like it is on that one. And it is always predominantly top heavy, these buildings. You know, it's like all the weight is like there on the top. I see that there's at least another story below ground level on that. Wow. So I'd say that was an owl type building. What is it? Let's have a look what that is. Can't make that word out. Ooh. I'm afraid I can't make that word out, guys, but maybe you can. It's a bit blurred. Just looks like a hodgepodge of different letters. It doesn't seem to be anything. It looks more Russian than anything. Anyway, you see the windows there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along there. All of these seem to have low windows and just flavor of Tartaria. Look at that. Right. Even though it's a skyscraper, look at all the decoration. And then you get to the top and then there's all this juice, all this beautiful decoration. They always put it up high up. But yeah, a lot of attention to detail on some of these earlier skyscrapers, which I think they're just left over from a reset. This one has got its own personal thematic pattern in the window. So they're using all of these vibrational sciences included in the whole technology of that house, the Antiquity. Windows, windows, windows. Beautiful. All of them. Just beautiful. Wow. Big enough? How did they get it there then? Let's have an imagine, right? Let's just play the history. This is the Masonic Temple. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. So let's just imagine that this massive door and all this stone, big stone too, and all this glass as well. So they got the apothecary next to in the Masonic Temple. Huh. Right. So yeah, they bring it all on a horse and cart on this thick, muddy shit that they got outside because there's no actual infrastructure. They got a bit of paving, bit of sidewalk, maybe. Yeah. So how do they do that? Phew. Wow. Some undergoing, eh? Whatever. Wow. It's just like, wow, my God, it's just first class. These pictures are just, I can't even believe it's Memphis. That's what's blowing my mind. Antiquity. Look at the style on that. And all mud flooded. Look. Just mind blowing. It's just wow. Again, just that. This one looks to be whitewashed, but again with a castellation here, a castle tower, a house. This is basically a castle, and the lower windows. I bet that is massive underneath that building, but it's massive inside too. This looks like a more recent 1930s type of picture, but that building there is just unusual. But it's one of those, you know, the asylums look like these, some of the hospitals, but this bit, I don't even know what to make of it. What would you have in a space like that? Anyway, so Memphis is nothing like I thought it was. And there's some of the industry there. This is the railroads, something to do with the railroads. Look at the size of that. Whew. So yeah, Memphis, Tennessee, long distance information. So you see this everywhere in the world, though. You know, it makes no sense, the narrative. I'm going to look at another amazing set of photographs. This is Barcelona in Spain, another destination, but with a very, very similar narrative and architecture. You get absolutely massive, fantastic architecture, and outside of the architecture, it is like that. It's terrible, isn't it? Well, no, like sort of, I'm guessing there's a little road there, but you know, why would you have a building so beautiful and all of, well, I'm saying beautiful, but so unbelievable quality, and then all of that outside? And you can't say, oh, it's just like not being tarted up. This has been left. Look at it. Just all grass. Antiquity much? Look at that. I can hear Freddie Mercury singing Barcelona, no? Right, there's a clock, a bell tower. So I'm thinking that this tower is an old balloon platform. Bloom comes in, couples up, they come down the platform, through the door, down the staircase, delivered straight into the town centre. And I think it was that all along. There's the door, so there's a definite staircase in the column. And I don't think it's just viewing platforms. So they got a clock there, and I'm guessing the bell is for the clock. Okay. But I definitely think these are landing stations for the Tantalian air balloons. You see them everywhere. Antiquitech much? Check this out. I can't be exact what it is. It's too unusual. It's a little bit Moorish by flavour. But these things. You can make your own mind up. They defy logic to me. Nothing in the background except waste ground and that configuration as well. Phew. Difficult to say what is going on, but look at the size of that building out in the middle of nowhere again. Field. Mad. Okay. Right. These are obviously leftover old world classical columns, aren't they? So let's try and imagine how big the building must have been to have these columns. The building no longer exists, by the way. The columns are still there. How big would the building have been? Well, massive. Big enough for giants. Look at the size of the people next to the columns, guys. Does it make any sense? Look at the sections of stone that they were apparently lifting in antiquity. Using what? Air balloons. Man, oh man, oh man. Place of giants. So here's the Spanish. I'm going to show you some photographs later of the Welsh who fought in the Spanish Civil War. And the Spanish Civil War, as you know, Franco the fascist, and there was people were like, hey, nonny, no, and it kicked off. But look at that, the presidential place in Barcelona. But very, very, I'm getting like big time fascist vibes there. It looks like one of those Nazi things, dues. So look at this. Very Phoenician. We've got the holding a laurel leaf again. The bestowers of power to these elites. But what is in there? I bet there's all rooms and spaces inside these statue monuments. You know, I think there's more going on with them. Antiquitech much? Check this out. Half-buried windows. Why would you build a window to put earth up against it? Anyone can just walk past, put their foot through. It just makes no sense. It's stupid. Right, let's look at this. I think there's something missing from that. These holes here, they're not decorations. It looks silly, but it looks owl. That looks like an owl's face. It looks just like an owl's face. I don't know what that is there. But definitely along the lines of 4-angel technology on that bit. Infrastructure, they've sorted that field out. This one's all rough and ready. So, yeah, it's difficult. You know, some people got a problem believing, you know, that we are in a post-reset society, and they've been scrambling for power for the last couple of 100 years. And they just had a change of guard. I think that happened maybe a little while ago when everyone was snoring. And now the world's readjusting. But, you know, I got a good feeling about things. I've seen good signs yesterday that people might be healing themselves and just getting on with it, because living in fear, everybody living in fear of wars and scarcity and hardship and all of it that they tell everybody that they're going to have. And they're so busy worrying about it, they're not living their life, and then it never arrives. It's like, oh, fucking hell. I just wasted all those years worried about something that never happened. That's where they want you, on a low vibration. They want you worried. They want you scared. And, you know, if you see people on YouTube and they're just giving you the fear, be scared, okay? There's something up with that, guys. I'm just saying. They want... If you want to maintain a good vibration, yeah, it's not good to be looking at icky things. That's my advice. So this is in Barcelona. Yeah, it looks like it's the Moors again, but it looks like a stadium. But yeah, definitely a Moorish influence with the oniony domes and Antiquity. But you're going to get that. So Gaudi's familiar. The cathedral being built outside is just fields by there and loads of goats. So it's the nature of the center of a metropolitan city. And then he just like literally tripped out and then just went crazy on the architecture, apparently. All dripping mud and everything else. It's just massive. But this is it being built, or is it? Or is this bit already there? This bit here with the thematic windows in, this bit behind, can you see? That doesn't look like a new build. That looks like it's been there a while. In fact, after a reset, you know, there's going to be just like fragments of what was there before, and that's what I'm seeing, you know. Maybe they didn't do it from the ground up. Maybe it's just the remnants of some old world architecture. But you see this this style of weirdness that happens nowhere else in the world, all over Barcelona. Look at this. Wow. Oh, okay, it's not too bad outside. They got a seat, beautifully decorated, and look at the Antiquity on that. I don't think they just got like a thing for aerials. Whoa, VP Python, it was a new fanage. Remember, welcome to the gang. I'm sure you're gonna have an awesome time while you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here on a flat a day late. 260 of you just showed up. That's awesome. Our happy little throng, not thong. Happy little throng. Okay, yeah, that is amazing. Okay, let's move on. Wow. Again, look at these lower windows. Pray tell what for. And we have some ladies in crinoline. She looks like she's got tartan on. This is in, mind you, they got a different thing going on there, haven't they? Catalan is sort of not really like the rest of Spain. They got their own thing going on in Barcelona, haven't they? So that looks Tudor-esque, doesn't it? Oh, really beautiful. What we got here then? A load of Phoenician paraphernalia. Let's have a look at the beautiful waterfall. A Phoenician arriving on a ship. Eagle wings open. The crown. Eagle wings open. Eagle wings open. Okay. They're everywhere. The Phoenicians just literally took over a civilization and covered up. And then all of this weirdness. Look at that. That's another one of these Gaudi affairs. This is just craziness. He's got like a swirly Mr. Softy ice cream affair here and here as well. And it's all just like just crazy architecture. I'm not opposed to this style of thinking or architecture. Knock yourself out, I think. It's just that brutalist, no imagination architecture I got to think about. I'm not even going to say words. Wonder what it did. So all of these windows, these thematic windows, my God, have been broken, some of them. And these keyholes, why do they look like keyholes? Is the whole thing a machine for giants to just come up, turn a key and switch this thing on? what I'm saying, they just look like keyholes, guys. But look at that. Again, mud flooder, definitely. Eagle's wings open on the bottom. Technology, man, all of that. May look like a building. It is a building, but, you know, that is not just for decoration, guys. That is part of the technology. I'm telling you. Again, with the weirdness, this is Salvador Valer. Let's have a look. So, obviously, Salvador Dali's from around here. Look at that weirdness. Okay. Not opposed to it. It's not ugly. Very strange sort of style of architecture that's just been sneaked in. And it's not Italian, really, is it? Is it not Phoenician either? But maybe a bit, because I can see the Phoenician flowers. Just something different. Look at this again. So some of these are there in the modern day. I've seen colour images of this one. But it's like they're in the old world. Full of decoration, and looks like these banisters or balustrades look like they got some sort of mouth with teeth or something. But what a lot of weirdness. Wow. So that one looks German, completely different style again. Definitely that German merchant's house feeling. Don't know what these two are. See them? On top of the railings as well. Gathering charge, no doubt. That's what I think, anyway. Okay, we're moving on. It's just madness. Look at this. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not adverse to this style of architecture, but definitely Phoenician it is. Look. There's a wire coming up to this thing here, this pot. And there's like a thing on top. Let's just mag up on that a minute, guys. So, yeah, there's a wire going up there. And it's to this pot thing. And there's like, I don't even know. It's difficult to say what that is. There's also a wire going around this pole as well. Don't say lightning conductor. But even if it was a lightning conductor, it's still collecting electricity. It's all seen Frankenstein. That's an edgy source. So, yeah, they had a bit of damage in the Spanish Civil War there, obviously. Other cities got destroyed. If you don't know, Guernica, the city, got completely flattened by the Luftwaffe in the Spanish Civil War on the behalf of Franco. So the Germans were bombing a city. And I think Picasso drew weird pictures or paintings of Guernica, or people screaming and buildings burning. So, yeah, they had a bit of war damage, but, you know, to be honest, Spain escaped the war, really. No, the rest of Europe was like laid to waste compared to Spain. See these gaps in there? I think there's something in these. They're in every city, right, guys? Yeah, and there's just like a big space underneath them. You don't want like a plinth, but I think there's like a space in there. I think there's something in them, you know. Maybe they put something in them, something gnarly, maybe, just to change the energy or something. These things here, I do not know. Okay. So that's out in the town. The Hotel Colon. Oh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Where did you stay? I stayed in the Colon. Oh, lovely. So more of that weirdness, like a Gaudi weirdness. I'm not sure if he did do this one, but it looks like the familiar, very similar style. But you couldn't pinpoint that to any specific civilization outside of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's very Disney-esque, if you like. So this one's in scaffolding. Okay, did they build it then? I very much doubt it. Huge space underneath these columns. I think this is a landing platform. It's definitely Phoenician. Look at this. And that on top. Christopher Columbus, is it, or some stupid... West is that way. Nah, that's Genoa. He's from Genoa, Christopher Columbus. This is snow. in Barcelona, which is not really famous for snow. I bet they hardly ever have snow in Barcelona. I don't know anything from Barcelona. Barcelona. Check the... So, yeah, the lights in the modern day got a lot to be desired, the light fixtures, compared to the old days, haven't they? Look at all of that detail on Antiquity. And the Arch of Triumph, which is not like other arches. It's got a slightly different style on that, admittedly. But, yeah, see these Tauruses on the bottom? Driving that chair. It's like a technology. I bet you these are self-illuminated lamps. Generate their own charge from all of this array. Yeah. Just mind-blowing. All I have now is just an aluminium pole with a nasty LED light on it. Horrible. So, yeah, statues. I don't think there's any need for statues. We're running for government, and that's something that's going to have to go, is stupid statues of their lot. Because I personally couldn't give a shit about them. In Barcelona, such a beautiful horizon, Barcelona. You got to say it like that. So, yeah, check this out. Barcelona. Yeah, totally crazy waterfall, that fountain. I don't know why I call waterfalls fountains. There's something wrong with that. So, yeah, not many people sitting out on that day. Check this out. So, another window being bricked. Bloody hooligans. Look at that then. Is that not the craziest thing you've seen? Antiquity much? Wow. You're so vain. Okay, wow. And look at the size of the people. It's the land of giants, man. Excuse me. Tiny little people. Big bloody everything. Barcelona. So, yeah, this is, I'm not sure. Park. Massive columns with all grass and mud outside. I wonder how long they've been there. Okay. Oh, nice brick building. I bet this is some sort of church in there. So some of these churches, they got like really... Ooh, she's going... What's she doing? Oh, she's stepping out. They have like really... You know, like there's nothing going on. And then you step through the door and it's like just mad. Amazing. I've seen some of them in Venice where it was just like nondescript outside. You go in, it's like, huh, that's where all the money's gone. Phew. It's a lot of vandalism. This is like, I'm guessing, like a Hotel de Ville by the look of it. And it's covered in posters. But, you know, it's got to be propaganda because they went crazy on the propaganda. They didn't even give up fascism till the 1970s, till Franco popped these clogs. So to hang on that long to old ideologies. Totally weird. The Phoenicians. All is in plain sight. Hi, Hippie Shake. Oh, thank you. Who we got there? David Phelps. Much love to you. Thank you. Okay. So who's in charge here? Okay. Well, I'm guessing the chick. Okay, I'm guessing the chick. Let's have a look. Wow. Is that made out of one bit of stone? And look at these buttresses. Where are they going? To extended towers you don't get to see. I'd like to see those towers. There's a clue with the flying buttress, you know, guys. I was going to do a post just on the flying buttress and explain what I mean. But that's a whole post in itself, which I will do. So, yeah, they've bricked up the windows behind there. So, and that looks beautiful. Look at these columns here. Marble board, like tile decoration on them. I bet they're all colourful and beautiful. And they lifelike, guys. There. Very lifelike. We're going to look at some unbelievable, probably some of the best statues you will see a bit later on in this. Some of them are from graveyards, cemeteries, stuff like that, but others from churches. Just, phew, it's going to make you think. There's a lot of decoration on that, but it's like a castle. But I can see similarities here with Memphis, or I could be looking at Melbourne, or I could be looking at Vancouver. It doesn't matter. Style is replicated the world over. Mud flood windows, big doors, Phoenician decoration, nonsensical towers. It's difficult to make a decision of what I'm seeing here, but it looks like a massive stone building, a church possibly, with a building that's been built onto the side of it. Why didn't they have the flying buttress to hold that up at such a high elevation when they got flying buttresses to hold much, much lower buildings? Makes no sense to me. So there's something else going on with that. Need deeper investigation. Building method makes no sense to me. So there's the Barcelona coast. Look at that beautiful building in the background, which looks exactly the same style as what we witnessed in Memphis, Tennessee. Although the Spanish did have that area for a while, so that makes sense. Same roofs, same array, same decoration, just the same. And I could show you that style in Rio de Janeiro or Montevideo, anywhere in South America, anywhere in South Africa. Look at the size of it. The cathedral hasn't been built there. I think it's just going up. But if you look at this, it's like a perfect circuit board city. And it's just like everything goes to these epicenters, if you like. Just amazing. They're people, are they? Yeah, they are. That's people, is it? Yes, it is people. That's a lot of people. Okay. Population have come out for some reason. So, yeah, we were going to Barcelona, I think. This is a nondescript little church. What is it? There's so much alteration with the older world. Technologies have been dismantled. This is a really brilliant example. As I mentioned here, this comes up. What are we looking at here? It's a church, yeah. But where's the steeple, or where's the towers, or where's anything? We're looking at a square box with a door in the front and a massive, like nothing else going on except for the door, massive, beautiful rose window with a thematic pattern inside. Just sound machine. It's a sound machine. Tiny little tree just been planted because the world got reset. Is your door big enough, love? No, I think I need it a bit bigger. Door big enough, love? It's like 10 times higher than her. Gargoyles on this one, this church. Beautiful little arch going over, but that's a pleasure to walk across. Quite like them to walk across. So I'm guessing that column is the existence of the old world. It looks like stone. It's worn to hell, and that's why he's taking a photograph of it. Bit of Antiquity going on there. This thing here, there's nothing in this tower. Just empty. Kids playing. So is it an apartment block? I don't know. There's nothing happening in there, but that is just well, that's reset, isn't it? Just left there. It's difficult to say what's happening with these two as well. They're like same either side, but just like castles, aren't they? Top's bit missing. And look at the size of this old stone underneath compared to the top. And then these filler inners. I'm seeing 2 ages here, maybe. Reset. No windows. And then they just tat it all up and start again. Antiquity much? Look at that bell there. Okay, there's no wires coming off that, is there? There might be some wires going to it. I don't know what that dome is in there. I couldn't tell you. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, and it's out of ice shots, so there's something else going on. Look at that bell. I bet when they were all going and all chiming in the past, I bet it's just felt fantastic. Everyone, look at that. Big enough. Size of the people to it. And then what's outside? Let's have a look what's outside a minute. This beautiful thing. You've got two people and a big pile of shit. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Not again. But nothing does when it comes to history. Okay. Good to see you, Avidas. Good to see you, K, LVK, Vibes, and a New West Reset. They are amazing. We got some more awesome pictures to come. Stick around, and I hope you enjoy. So, let's move on. Now, another clue, I think, is Starforts. Now, let's just have a think about this a minute, and I'll explain what I mean, right? So, if these are what the official narrative states they are, is bastion military places, forts, okay, then would you share your blueprints and your defensive plans with everybody in the world, including your enemies? No, you wouldn't. People who take photographs of American military camps get arrested. Or you can take a photograph of like a US or a foreign battleship and you could be arrested. So that is not done. Yet, in the past, different countries put their precious military hardware on the back of a coin, which can go anywhere in the world. Does that even make any sense? No. And what you see is predominantly Phoenician. So I don't know what the date is. A weird knobby thing, a 7, an O, and a wonky thingy 9. So I don't know. Make your own mind up. But yeah, some of these are from Russia, some German, different places. I think some of them Dutch as well. So yeah, this one is amazing. I've seen this one before. I think it's maybe Strasbourg, but you can see it's getting a bombardment on that, which would do absolutely nothing to a Starfort because it's like the stealth bomber of designs. Manifesto. And what did you manifesto? Hideously bad weather on a Starfort. What? From Moscow, Castor Moscow. Moscow, and they manifested a big cloud with a load of rain. They manifested the weather, sort of suggests weather manipulation, maybe, wouldn't you say? This one is from that weird boot shape eye, which is not an eye, is it? It's 709, weird wonky 9. And, ooh. And there's giant cannons there. And you can see a Starfort there. Poltava, which is possibly Polish or Russian. All right, look at this one. So, yeah, again with the Phoenicians, with their armor, and then somebody comes, hits their knees and offers them a crown. We've seen this in so many images, haven't we? Portis, Hosti, Fragtis. Anyway, they're putting their plans on coins. No, that makes no sense. I think this is a Moscow one, is it again? This one is from Wonky Eye Thing 5 AVG SV. Don't know. It's difficult to say. But again, even on this coin, you got an old father Thames, who's the Phoenician, who is emptying water, like they always show you. He's got an arrow coming in to hit him, and he has a scepter, which is a weapon. There's another arrow there as well. So Russia got the same gods as they got in America. Go figure. And in Britain, and in Germany, and in Japan. Ship me. Are they all together in like this weird or New World Order thing they got going on? Well, yeah, they are. But they pretend that they're not so that they keep everyone in flux. If everyone is shouting at one another, wah, 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 like that, then the real culprits for where the shit show originated, the powers that should not be, yeah, they just get away scot-free because everyone's busy fighting one another and not the real enemy. It's a good old trick. It's a magic trick. Look over here while we're doing this shit over here. You lot fuck one another up while we're ripping you right the fuck off. Da-da, da-da. That. So again, with the Phoenicians making offerings of plants and architecture. And then you've got a blueprint of a Starfort, a secret military apparent location. You do not want your enemy to know. Again, I'll swap you this crown and this Starfort for a piece of paper, a scroll. Whatever. Again, Phoenicians. So what's this one? A big Starfort in the background from the year Wonky Eye 700. So apparently 1700. This one's getting his head crushed by horses. Nice for a coin, isn't it? All that good energy. Yo, missus, I just want to buy this bread with this coin. It's got death on it. Well, it's no different to religion. They show death on it. Fucking churches everywhere, don't they? Like torture victims and shit stuff. Really weird. Again, with the Phoenicians, this one's come from up a ladder and he's got a flaming holy hand grenade. Because he is a pepperdeer and he's got some explosives. Apparently, he's going to take out that. But they got a god here as well. So help. Whatever. Again, here he is. He's got the trident and he's got a key. This godage. And the Starfort's in flames. I think that is possibly Nuremberg. This one, Russian. Let's have a look at that. Wow. Look at the detail in these coins as well. This is from a J702. It's like that J is definitely not a 1, is it? Like, definitely not. People will argue. So, Imperial Eagle here. Something successor. Can't see any date on there. There's a Roman date. But Starforts all the way around for all the different places. And where they are, they'll tell you the location. Just in case you're the enemy and you want to know where to come and attack. Makes no sense. Like, literally no sense. So here's Mercury on the right. Caduceus in hand. We got another god on the left. And he's literally holding a building because he's a giant. The buildings are really small. This is St. Petersburg in Russia's amazing Starfort, which I've looked at in the past. They do have amazing Starfort there. And that there's Peter the Great. He built like the Winter Palace and the Hermitage and this big fuck off Starfort. He lived in a log cabin. They lead you to believe. Whatever. Right. Okay. So J4 May, something or other. He's got a key. Let's have a look at that decoding. It's got a key for the city. That's what they do. They give people a key. Oh, they give them the key to the city. It's like, what does that mean exactly? Can I have like, can I go into like Five Guys and have a big massive burger for free because I've got a key to the city? Yeah, sure. Everything's free. I'd be like, whoa. I'd be like, this caviar's a bit salty, innit? Got anything else? And I want a caviar sandwich. Caviar sandwich, sir? Yeah, caviar with big bits of bread and tomato sauce. Sorry, sir, what did you say? I want caviar, butty with tomato sauce, please. Yes. Okay. Off you go then. Hasty haste, pacey pace, make haste. I wouldn't treat the staff like that. Unless they deserved it. What we got here? It's him again. He's got a baseball bat. He's going to take out Starfort with a baseball bat. And we got the drums and the cannon configuration that we see so many times on architecture. Revol. Sorry, I can't make up that date. But again, with the Phoenicians, crown flying in, Cherepanewski style wings happening. Wow, that's a nice one. Rexholm, King's House, Imperial House. So yeah, quite amazing. I got loads more, but I tell you what, it'd take forever to go through them all. So I think that's a clue. You wouldn't share your military secrets with the world. So that's just showing me that they're not what they say they are. Let's have a look at some beautiful things before we take a little break, have a little bit of music. And then we're going to carry on with the rest of this post, but you may need to buckle up for that. Good to see Marianne. How's it going, lovely? Did he got the keys to the city and then they took them away from him again? No. What city was that? Maybe these coins were souvenirs. I thought that, Kathy, because some of them like got cannony things. But if they built them like in 1600s, they kind of been like in battles very much and then had coins made of them, so detailed. I wish I had a metal detector too, Kate, but not allowed. Not allowed. Mind you, don't ask. Okay, let's get stuck in. I've been talking about statues for years, and I got a thing about, like, I'm guessing beautiful statues and cemetery statues, but some of them are just so lifelike, but they are haunting and they are beautiful. So I'm going to go through a few. Excuse me. They're all crying. The angels are crying. Why do they cry? Because they be eating onions? Why are they so depressed? They're supposed to be holy. You think they'd have sussed this place out by now? It's like, dude, you got supernatural powers. Why are you so pissed off? Oh, God, she's an angel. She's not happy, though. So why are they mourning for the dead anyway? Because they're like eternal. They couldn't give two fucks, could they? It's like, oh, it's so sad they died. I'm not, though. Sort of thing. And affectionate memory. Oh. She's got no hand. Do you know what happened? She started biting her nails. And that's what happens. That's how Venus de Milo started. She started biting her nails and just got out of control. Ah, this little baby. And she got bit. I want to introduce parrots to Wales. Part of my manifesto. Still looking for, in my political party, a deputy leader and a secretary. Not a secretary, a secretary is what I'm looking for. It's name to go down when I pay for it to go into get my political party. And there's apparently a punk rocker from Wales who's apparently running for parliament as well. So I need to get that on. Donald, if you can make it to the end of the day without getting shot or falling flat on your face, could you send some aid to Flat Earth British Martin Leaker so I can save the world, please? Why did they cry so? Why are you crying? Cover yourself up. Look, he's got like just a sheet on. Could be embarrassing, isn't it? Crying your eyes out and everything's showing. Oh, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead. Well, they're not, they're not, they're not. That's religion, I think, just brainwashing us. How many people have you met with wings? I don't mean the pop group. How many people have you met with wings? Have you met anyone? Only that time when you were on DMT. That doesn't count, I'm afraid. In the real world, objective reality. Not many, not many. I had visions like of Krishna when I was young, but I didn't see any angels. I hear them, but I don't see them. Hey, Spot. Don't like you. Look what he's got, right? Why would an angel have a fasces? Pray tell, going on the official narrative of what it is supposed to be, what was an angel doing with one? That would be a brilliant cover for a heavy metal album. This one's
bit unusual looking. It's got a bit grubby. Oh, your hands would get stinking on that, wouldn't they? Stars on her head, fully. Why are angels so Phoenician? And who are these Phoenicians? Look at this. That's quite beautiful. This one's ready to fly. But they might not be wings. They might be fins, like fish fins. So there may be, it's all liquids anyway. We've established that this place. That's how frequency and vibration works so well. But maybe the air was thicker post-reset, and then you wouldn't need much of a, a bounce to get a lift. And just the effort. It's like, who envisioned this in their brain and chiseled it out of stone and stuck it on a grave? It's like, how much effort. So I really do think, concerning the subject of death, I think they're having a giraffe at us. I think they're giggling at us. They know the secret of this place. And they're like, oh, if they find out, they're just going to be not really in the same mindset as they were before, shitting themselves at all. Because I really do think that, quantum immortality and just jumping into another body in another realm is something that we do on a daily basis anyway. There's no way this realm is the same realm as yesterday. Yesterday was beautiful. The way of everything, and now it's all grey and looks jungly. And every single day something has changed. But yesterday I seen something happened to the people. And maybe it was just because it was such a pretty day. But I felt that everyone was just getting on with it. Rather than being angry and scared, because that's what they've been, angry and scared. And maybe the time has come now that they're healing out of what happened 5 years ago. A lot of people, guys, they weren't like us. A lot of people went to shit in a handbag. Yeah. Like believed, watched the news, thinking it was all real, got themselves in a terrible 2 and 8 they did. So they had to deal with all of that. Not like us. Yeah, very beautiful these are. Very pleasing to the eye. I don't know why, if it's a graveyard, but it is. And I'd love a walk around a graveyard. One of my favorite places to actually go, reading gravestones. It probably cheers me up. Don't know why. I'm not one for weddings. Weddings get on my fucking nerves. And if they're my weddings, in my family, always ends up with a big punch-up. I like funerals. Funerals are awesome. I like the bouncy castles the best. And the drugs. What's this? Beautiful. No such thing. Look at this for beautiful. I'm just going to fly you up to heaven. You were so good in this life that God wants you by his side. He's okay, God. He's a bit old and a bit touchy. Yeah, I meant he touches you. Oh, shit. Yeah, I've got to tell you. This is by Eric Roth Photography, who's a very, very good photographer who captures light beautifully, but I'm guessing he got a really expensive camera. That's beautiful. Full of copper oxide, so there is copper in that somewhere. Yeah, this photographer really knows his stuff. I got terrible eyesight. That's what lets me down with photography, but I do appreciate it like I appreciate music. Haunting, I think. How beautiful that is. And they're so human, It's just crazy. I've seen some that you was like, fuck no, there's a person in there. Like that, for example. It looks too real. And then they're in a graveyard. It's like that could have been a form of punishment in the past. Is, oh, you want to be they pay money maybe and they say, oh, we're going to make you immortal. It's like a wicked, and then they immortalize them in stone. So not exactly what I had in mind, but you've got to be specific, haven't you? So there's that. I'm going to come back for a second because I'm going to play my new intro thing, which I love very much. I thank Chris for that. It was awesome of him to do. And I've got loads of shares. It's going to be dark here, isn't it? Anyway, we're good. So almost 300 of you watching. Thank you for being here today. CJ, good to see you. There is no unchanging reality. Only things seeming to change is how the awareness perceives it. Wow. Well, it's all about awareness anyway, and that's actually energy, I think. Causes were doomed by Templars. The angels Quai were trapped in this realm, in this reincarnation cycle. Were they? Oh man, sucks, doesn't it? Where are they then? They're in this realm, but you don't see them. They're just like invisible, and they tip you off like when you're about to get killed, or when you do get killed. That time I got killed. You're the angel. I thought it saved my life. I don't actually think now anymore that it did. Yep. Not in limbo. That's good news, guys. Purgatory, very possibly. Hell realm, definitely. But it's down to us to change the hell realm, which isn't in another destination. It's us doing it, to a realm of this. This is what we want. This is what I want. And if you envision it, it will come. They want you to envision stuff with fear. They want you to see a technocratic, nasty-ass future with all of these really horrible things going on. Oh, no, guys. I'm sorry. That is just not how we roll. Okay? We win through love. So, yeah, Chris did this for me, and you can find it linked up there if you want to go and sub to this chap. He's been doing AIs all week. And it is an absolutely fantastic video. If you haven't seen it already, I'm just going to show this for 2 seconds. There's me, Captain Marticus, on my airship. I want this. And I would go exact. I've even looked into the feasibility of weight ratio, and you would be able to have all of that, but NASA got all the helium. But I was thinking methane powered. I'd have all of that. I wouldn't have a holographic display. Or a HUD or any of that. I would have valves and old school stuff, analog. Yeah. So if anything goes wrong, you haven't got to fuck around with a long fucking logistical program. I mean, it's all there. It's done, and it's going to be super easy to fly, like proper safe as well, because it's going to have obviously some technology, so it'll have proximity alarms, so birds don't go plow into the side of that balloon and make a big explosion. Anyway. Here I go, Captain Matt. Good luck for me.
I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know what it is. Same old buildings, different towns, same old shapes just passed around. Columns, domes, I've seen that before, but nobody knows what they're for. They say we built it line by line, brick by brick, over time. But something about that just feels off, like I'm hearing a story that's been cut off. I keep looking, trying to see how it all connects for me. Something doesn't fit, something's out of place. Feels like pieces got erased. Something doesn't fit, I can't ignore. The more I look, there's something more. Streets too high, doors too low, windows buried down below, like we're walking on top of time, like we missed something in the line. They call it progress, call it change, but this don't feel like it rearranged. Feels like something got wiped away and we're living on what remains. I don't know what went down, but I feel it all around. Something doesn't fit, it don't feel right, like the truth was left behind. Something doesn't fit, I can't pretend. This is where it all began. They showed it once, then took it down, build it up, then burn the town. Why would you hide what you found? Power in the air, flowing through the sky. Now we pay for every breath just to get by. Maps don't match what we're told. Stories shift as they get old. Feels like truth got cut in half, rewritten just to make it last. And I ain't saying I know it all, just hearing echoes through the walls. Too many things that don't align, too many cracks in the design. Something doesn't fit, it's everywhere. In the ground, in the air. Something doesn't fit, I cannot see. The more I look, it looks at me. Yeah. Something happened. Something happened.
So how fantastic is that? So that is the world that we envision. And when it comes to them poor babies, let's just not forget them. Okay, that's what we don't do. We just don't forget them. Okay, I'm going to show you some images now. I'm going to have a disclaimer before I start to take me up to images of the day of World War II. Now, you haven't seen these before, or you may have seen one or two, but I don't think so, because I collect World War I photography and I've never come across any of them before. Some of the topics, I will give you a rundown on what I know and what I can say or comment on each photograph, whiz through, because there's a couple of hundred, but there are some that I won't be able to comment on, but are very, very cluey. I don't think World War II happened anything like they said, and I'm going to explain along the way as well. So that's what we're doing for the remainder of this. I've taken this up to images of the day, as I explained. Okay, that's what we're doing. So buckle up, and as I said, they are quite, they do invoke emotion. If you care and you're an empath, then you might find some of these a little bit harrowing, to say the least. But some of them I feel are really beautiful too. Okay, let's have a look. Now, they have been colorized. I think a lot of them from whoever does these piece cake colorization and cleaned up older photography, but they show you some stuff that is just craziness. So we got, looks like American troops here, just talking with some possibly French people. and they were sort of the liberators. But, you know, the Americans didn't actually join the war to the 11th hour, same as World War One. After the psyop of Pearl Harbor, you know, they made sure that they sailed all of their wicked ships out of Pearl Harbor before the Japanese turned up. And then they sink a load of antiquated, like the Arizona World War One battleships. How convenient. There were a lot of deaths. Anyway, so they declared war on Japan, and Japan were allies with Germany, so bringing America into the war. They come over, set up to fight in the second front of D-Day. And this is what they're doing here. American regiments all getting ready in the southern counties of Britain. So I'm guessing this guy is a political prisoner of what looks like Romanian Secret Service. I think they are really probably very unfriendly. Here's some Russians in the trenches in a dugout, because they had dugouts and trench warfare in the Eastern Front. Just nightmare experiences. So this is a photograph apparently of the loot, or the booty, so to speak. I'll just mag up on this a bit. Of people who were put in camps. Okay, so I had an auntie in Auschwitz, my auntie Aha. She worked as a seamstress in one of the factories that were there. It was a big city. My father was in Auschwitz as well. Don't know whether you know. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, true. 3 years he froze his ass off in that guard tower, guys. It was inhuman. American prisoners of the Japanese. No, these guys actually, this is what's happened. Let me scrap that, what I just said. These were 31 days on a life raft out in the Pacific Ocean after they've been sunk by the Missouri got sunk. The rest of the people got eaten by sharks, according to the movie. And these got picked up in a boat after surviving 30 days on whatever they survived on. But they survived. This is Bastogne. This is in the Americans. The winter of, I think it was 44, they had the Battle of Bastogne. They got surrounded by the Germans in the Battle of Bulge. They got completely encircled and properly pummeled, it was called. They were called the poor battered bastards of Bastogne. You may see it in the Band of Brothers movie. You've got to give a bit of respect to the pilot of this Japanese bomber. He was definitely coming down, and he managed to get down. I bet he stepped out of there as well. No death. But yeah, that Japanese bomber come down right on the beach. One thing you'll find, okay, is that towards the end of World War II, the Germans only had young boys left to fight. So where were all the German men? Do you want me to tell you where they were? They were all dead. They all got killed, guys. It was just, I don't even go into words, right? And these young boys were all that was left to serve because everyone else was properly dead, well armed. These are French people, and they're giving them water, which is a basic human need. So they're being just kind. And then the Panzers. Absolutely fantastic tank, but you can take one of them out with, as long as you hit it in the plate at the back, which is thinnest, you can take them out. You could take them out with if you get on there with a Molotov. So here he is. He's the bastard that started it all. I know what you say. No, it was the Germans. No, hang on a minute. Let's just clear this up, shall we? Germany invaded Poland to start World War II. Winston Churchill, declares war on Germany. Germany sued for peace no less than 18 fucking times. And he keeps saying, no, we're going to come and wipe you off the face of the earth. We're coming for a war. What you might not know is Eastern Poland, the exact same day, got invaded by the Russians. He doesn't declare war on Russia. He declares war on Germany. Okay, but they both invaded Poland. That's a bit selective, isn't it? And while the build-up to war is happening, right, Roosevelt is filling up ships, sending them across the Murmansk runs, across the Atlantic Ocean, and he's supplying massive amounts of armaments to Russia, who just invaded Poland. Is any of this making any sense? Unless they are making the structure for the theatre of war. What you find then is, and this is what gets me about the modern day, is there was a lot, maybe 1 billion less people back there, guys, right? Back then. And they managed to rally the whole world into a war. That's why it was a world war. All the men in uniform, all the women in factories or in uniform, everybody played a role and everybody in the world was affected, no matter where you were. Everybody did something. And nowadays, yeah, they can't do absolutely anything. They can't even fix a pothole. Yet they managed to pull all this together in the past. It just gets me. They can't seem to pull anything together in the modern day. So you're the Gurkhas. They served with the British. They were very, very brave. When they were told that they will be given parachutes when they jump out of the plane, they were like, "What? We can be given? You're very kind because we give them parachutes." You can see he's on a Sten gun here. I'd like to be able to have a go of a Sten gun. So there's German generals. They couldn't give two shits. Look, I think this is Heinz Guderian. He's a bit of a bastard. Don't actually know him personally, but and being matched to camps. Now, what you find with World War II is probably more people died in prisoner of war camps, not being fed and being matched than they did in actual battle. So a lot, like millions died in these camps. Millions of Russians, millions of German people matched to their death. Now, these people, I don't know what nationality, they could be Ukrainian, they could be anything, couldn't they? But they give them these stripy uniforms to identify with them, so you can identify them. They are not bound. They are, I wouldn't say emaciated. Where they could go, who even knows? So a camp. So yeah, freezing winters, that killed a lot of people, and boiling summers as well. The Germans, they did very well by it all, you can see. Oh, that's a nice dog. But they pay dearly. So yeah, they had all of that unbelievable equipment, like all of them Messerschmitts and bombers and tanks. And do you know where they all are now? No, they disappeared off the face of the earth like they never existed. There's like 2 Messerschmitts in the world. I think one of them is in a museum in Germany and one of them is in LA. Like none of them. And if you used to ask or Google, oh, what happened to all the Messerschmitts? They stripped them, the aluminium off them, and they made prefabricated housing after the war in Britain. So what? Prefabs are shot on Messerschmitts? Yes, I'm afraid so. That's what we did with the aluminium. Okay. Well, it must have been aluminium cover in there because you see all of the pipes in there. This is not a Messerschmitt, by the way. Just saying. Wow. I don't know what gun that is, but it looks like it does. It's like a super shotgun, if you like. Okay. So, yeah, I'm guessing their life wasn't mundane, especially if you were in a tank. Probably a really good job is get your crew, and they're quite big inside. You can live in them, fry up eggs and stuff. You've got a radio bit of navigation. You've got a little room there. Not in some of these smaller tanks. So. You got chainmail on? No, he's just got a balaclava on. His head's a bit cold. Okay, and the British, you know, all in good moods. Here is also the British, the Tommies. My grandfather was in the RAF. He was in most campaigns. North Africa, Sicily, landing, he was D-Day, all of it. Oh, excuse me. Let's have a look here. So yeah, just cleaning your weapons, because if you don't maintain your weapon and it don't fire when somebody's going to shoot you, that's on you, boo. Maintain your weapon. These are Orthodox Russians. Betty and they're dead. Here's the Russians again. So yeah, my father was not. He fought. Got his war record for 3 years in the Battle of Fire and Ice, and the Field Marshal Mannerheim. My uncle Otto got killed. I've got a letter from Field Marshal Mannerheim thanking my grandmother for her child sacrifice. But my father, he went deserted from the German army, went over the border into Sweden, joined the Merchant Navy. But because he was political asylum, Russia after the war went nutty and said to my father, if you don't come back to Estonia, we're going to kill your mother and father. He couldn't go back, but they didn't kill my grandparents. So, but they were threatening to. I then go to, where was it? East Germany, a place called Wismar. Secret Service, if you like, black gang they're called, come on a ship. And they say to the captain, who's this Litka? He's and then they know, and they do research, and they know who I am. Or they knew my father. And they insist that if they're not given X amount of money, they're going to take me away. So the captain comes in my cabin. He says, Martin, they're on about taking you away, mate. I'm like, what? He said, where? He said, Gulag. Well, what? I said, I'm not fucking joking. They're going to arrest you. So what am I going to do? So we've got to pay them off, and you're going to have to pay us off. So how much do they want? He said, thousands of dollars, Matt. I said, what? So they ended up paying them thousands of US dollars to keep me out of a fucking gulag. I'm not even joking, guys. Big boxes of Benson and Edges and a load of Johnny Walker's whiskey to get them off the boat, so they didn't take me with them. Which they were going to do because of my father. I'm not even joking. I was that close to a fucking gulag. I ain't joking. So yeah, German prisoners, they are not doing very well. Mostly old men. And these, if they are the master race, are not master racing it in that regiment. The injured being brought over on ships. And the old... They literally evacuated before the war a load of people of a certain race from Germany and started them over in America, hired big ships to ship them all out, at great expense as well. So this is how they supplied aid to the people of Stalingrad. So this is in the Kessel in Stalingrad. They landed planes to feed while it was frozen, because they were surrounded, as you may or may not know, by the Germans in the Kessel, the center of Stalingrad. Bonsai! Fucking Japanese are proper mental, isn't they? They just don't give up, and they got kamikazes and everything. Wow, people sucked in the war. I got some sticks. I'm going to have a fire tonight. Oh. So, yeah, some people were on the German side, like the Ukrainians. They were happy to do their beckoning. If you was to ask them, why did you do it? They'll say, because I was under orders. Okay. This looks exactly like the Titanic. Only 3 instead of 4. And it's the Cap Arcona. So, yeah, that'd be a good target for a torpedo, wouldn't it? If it was full of people. At the Lusitania. Another PSYOP that started war. Okay, so we got some troops here, and they're holding a large bomb. Let's hope it's been dismantled, eh? This is curious. Do you know what this is a picture of? The Führer bunker. This is apparently the settee where Adolf Hitler killed Blondie the dog, and then he's apparently crunched down on a cyanide tablet at the same time as blowing his own head off. And his wife, who he just married, Ava Braun, did the same. Sat there on that settee, on that couch. And then they got a photograph of the Americans coming in looking for evidence. The picture's missing on the wall, by the way. Wonder what was on there. And there is a little bit of blood, which suggests something might have happened. and he is looking for the missing bullet cases. What a load of shit. His brains would have been all over the fucking wall, guys, at point blank range. And how can you bite a cyanide tablet and shoot yourself when you have instant death? It just makes no sense. Oh, I'm just making sure. And then I'm just marry this beautiful woman and then top her as well. Does any of that make any sense? Well, it doesn't make. And I don't think that's evidence. And I think that if I was to hazard to guess, he went to America. I know they say Paraguay, South America, but I think that all of the top brass, including Martin Bormann, were rehoused in Nantucket Island in Connecticut. You need a ferry to go there. It's proper closed down, and it's elite as fuck. I think that that's where they put all the Nazis, is Nantucket Island. Got reasons to think. So yeah, that was a bit of a crash. The RAF came down, and his landing gear didn't work, and his props just went buckle, 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 buckle. But I bet he survived. So yeah, my grandfather used to be a marshal. I used to bring him in with them little table tennis bats like this in the war. So yeah, mud, inglorious mud. Mud just puts an end to all affairs. You can't battle, you can't move equipment, you can't do anything. And these Germans on their sidecars and motorbikes, they used them for the first time, really. Loads of potato masher angry. It's super well equipped. How the fuck did they? Well, we know why they lost. So here's the Russians out on the steppe. Well, it's not the steppe. There's mountains, but maybe the Carpathian Mountains. Got medals. Looking very happy about things. He's got a bomb. Wow. So yeah, like I said, so my father had a personal issue with the Russians. You know, when I used to visit him on the ship, he would go past the Russian ship and he would look at it and go, "Sink you." So he never ever swore. He would go, "Sink, sink." He would hope that they would sink and die, because he said that they did really, really bad things and they are not nice people, is what he told me. So I believe it. He fought him for years, but mind you, the Russians don't like to talk about the Battle of Fire and Ice. A small Estonian Finnish army. Oh, I was like that. I got new shoes. It's the best day of my life. At last. I bet they crippled him. So yeah, my father then, anyway, I missed a bit out, actually. When he left the war, or the Battle of Fire and Ice, after his brother got killed, went to Sweden, he got machine gunned swimming this river, and he got had all belly buttons like this around his back from the machine guns hit him, and he survived. The old man. It's unbelievable, the lives that these people have had compared to ours. Mind you, mine's been pretty rad, but not like fighting fucking Russians. So anyway, the Battle of Fire and Ice, they created murder zones in Finland in the forest, and they ploughed a million or millions of Russians into these murder zones where they couldn't get out, and then just killed them using small weapons and small armaments. That's all the Finnish had. They weren't even well armed. So yeah, the Russians could not win that, and we're very, very unhappy about it. I'm so proud of you, son. Thank you, Mama. And if you run away from the Russians, because if you're in battle with Russia, the Russians, and they turn away and run like cowardness, they get killed. British. So you've got to go and fight. You've got to go and die, or we will kill you. Okay, that makes no sense. So yeah, get on a tank so you don't have to walk. I think this is on the Russian front, which is the worst probably era of human history. It was literally Armageddon. This guy wasn't aware that the war was over for 26 years after. They landed on a small Filipino island, and he was like with his gun, and they're like, dude, the doors are out now in the 1960s. It's like all over. He didn't even know that the war was over. That's what you need. Loads of camouflage so they don't see anti-aircraft tank Akak tank. So how did the Russians deal with the camp guards? Was that they put them on gallows on the backs of lorries and they drove the lorries away with a crowd of what looks like tens of thousands of people watching. Would you go to watch an execution? So that is what happens, is there big trials, and a lot of people then spend the next year or two end up getting executed. So even Hitler was subservient to the leader of the Russian Empire before Adolf Hitler, whose name just slipped my mind. I'm having a brain fart. But they're all in the same club, look. Knights of Malta, Freemasonic. I thought my Freemasonics were banned in Nazi Germany. Ribbentrop, not Ribbentrop. Anybody? My brain's gone. It is brutal. Anyway, this is a standard field gun for the Russians. Do terrible damage, though. And the build-up of the Russian offensive. So Barbarossa, or the operation of invading Russia, was terrible. They can tell you about this, girl. They got a narrative behind her. So in war, apparently, especially when it concerns the Russians, one of their tactics of invading a country and taking it over is to rape the women. It's a domination thing for the enemy. So they do this. This woman, this German girl, she's been beaten and raped, as tens of thousands. Now, Paulus is the general. He's got dysentery. He's not a well man. And he's the general of the Battle of Stalingrad. He's been made field marshal because he knew, or Hitler knew, that no field marshal had ever surrendered or killed himself in the German army. But he did. He capitulated and he worked for the Russians. They had him in exile, but he worked for them as spying, I guess. But yeah, so Paulus, he went onto the other side through no choice. I doubt it. They probably said, we're just going to execute you. So he got to live on. The probably 90,000 prisoners of the Battle of Stalingrad got marched to their death. I think 2,000 got home eventually in the 1950s. Out of 90,000, mind you, got home. So Paulus, he sold out to Russia. And you're there with Stalingrad in the background. Now, that was the turning point of the war. Hitler fucked up. He literally separated the Sixth Army, and the Sixth Army had just had like amazing results with, overturning the governments of Europe. They just took over France. They just took over the Low Countries. The Sixth Army were battle hardened. They separated the two. One got to go off to the oil fields. The other's got to go to Stalin's symbolic city of Stalingrad, the city that's named after him. And then we're taking that. It all went to shit in a handbag, as you know. The entire German Sixth Army gets surrounded and eventually killed. So, yeah, gas was not used, they say, in World War II, although the whole of Britain was issued gas masks. And here we have a Nazi wedding. This year is Trudy Lunge. Now, you may or may not know who she is. She's been in the movie The Bunker and other German films. When she was older, she's in a lot of interviews on like Parkinson, on like, you can see her on YouTube. And she's a very attractive woman in her later years. But I tell you what, I just get the sense she's lying through her ass is what I do. Here she is getting married. Hitler's secretary, personal secretary, apparently really liked her, thought a lot about her. And she was getting married. This is a photograph of the Spanish Civil War that I mentioned earlier. This was a precursor to the Second World War in the early 30s, fighting the forces of Franco and fascism, the Spanish people. It was a pretty bloody affair. The Welsh were there, and there was British regiments there as well, helping fight fascism. So what are the decks made of on these aircraft carriers? They look to be made of wood, don't they? Wood planks. but you got to take a plane off on that, fly a plane on that. So they were relatively new, I guess. First World War, they converted some ships into aircraft carriers. 25 years later, they got a fleet of them. So, yeah, there was a black day of Russia where something like 1 million Russian troops had surrounded. It was a hideous affair because none of them actually made their home either. Don't know what happened to them. They went off to a camp somewhere and never seen the light of day again. These guys, I doubt any of them would survive, guys. You know, these prisoners never survived. They never had food to feed the army at the end of it. Mannerheim, what a bastard. He's general. He's just having a nice cup of tea like the British should do with all his adjutants. And he's sitting there looking pretty fucking smug. He's like, yeah, man, we're smashing it. I'll just have a cigar before we go off and take over the next village. Here's the Russians coming into a suburb of Berlin. Now this, truly, the Battle of Berlin truly was the apocalypse. I can't imagine what it was like for the people who lived there. I can't imagine what it was like for the women after the Russians, after the Germans are surrendered, and everybody. Terrible goings on and terrible fucking people. And what's happening in the modern day? It's all just all into the carpet. This human slavery is very much up and running, guys. Yeah, how many do you think are going missing every year? Population's fucking scarce. Where are they all going? I wouldn't be surprised if they were taking them to other worlds. Think about it. Other places, having them as slaves and staff to run their other world place, maybe. Because there's people going missing in here, and I don't think that they're all being killed. I just don't. I read in a Reader's Digest, sitting there, I said to my mother, I said, Ma'am, it says in here that in 1900, hundreds of thousands of children went missing in Britain. She said, oh, yeah, I know where they're gone. They're in the desert, Matt. I was like, really? She said, oh, yeah. Some of them knew all about it. She had some sort of insight into what was going on with it all. It was really weird what she knew. So, yeah, here's Churchill with that French twat. What's his name? Fucking de Gaulle. Oh, my God, what an obnoxious man he is. He's not we should have had Cantona, but he wasn't born. So, yeah, I've got a lot of books on commandants and the women and the men that run concentration camps, like Eliza Koch apparently made lampshades out of human skin. Some of them were faces on, apparently, according to the narrative, but it is given to us by them. These are camp guards, and they all got executed. Okay. Do they look bothered? She might look bothered. They're dead smug, and they all got executed. So they say. That is some real cockiness, isn't it? So here's an old troop. He's like breaking his heart, having a little cry, because he's like, first time he's seen his Russian T-20 tank since he actually served in one, probably in the Battle of Kursk. And the memories have just come flooding back. It's too much for him. I don't even imagine. Don't even go there. On my head. Whew. So these are the Americans landing in the Philippines. They met, it was quiet when they landed, and then they met large forces of Filipinos and Japanese. And the Battle of Manila was vicious. The Pacific. So these look like the French, the Free French Army, who fought alongside the British and the Poles. There was a Polish Free Army as well. So, yeah, concrete up your bunkers. See these sandbags, if they're left long enough, they turn into stone, you know, rock hard. Sandbags do. I'm sure they built with them in the past. Let's move on. So, yeah, he's got them bloody horrible brown uniforms on, haven't they? Really nasty ass. Not like the Hugo Boss affairs. You know, Hugo Boss smashed it on the uniforms, didn't he? So, these are like the Germans had the Joy Division, as I'm sure you're aware of, which was state-sponsored or state-run. And the Japanese had these ladies. These are in Nanking. Very unfortunate tale. They are obviously slaves, sex slaves. What's worse about it, guys, is the Japanese government, it insisted that they do it. So they had no choice. It was literally a law where they were called pleasure. Well, they were for pleasure in the Japanese soldiers. And that's the way they treat people in this place. Not good, is it? So I'm not sure what nationality these people are, but if it's a hazard to guess, I would say that they are possibly Italians. It's hard to say. There's a Russian fighting in the streets. Look at the state of these buildings. It's not like it's bullet holes over every bit of it. Can you imagine how vicious these battles actually are? Every building is covered. So there he is, that tank commander. He's laying on his deathbed, and his last thing is, I'll touch my uniform and remember all of those people I blew the fuck up with my tank. There. So Market Garden was awesome. I reckon that was brilliant, although a complete fail by the British Army to secure the bridges of Holland. And when they got a bridge too far, a Remmingen, then it was like the Germans were like, we think you should surrender. And the answer for the British was, no, we can't take you prisoner. We haven't got the facilities. And the Germans was like, no, you don't understand. We want to take you prisoner. It's like, sorry, we don't have the facilities to take you prisoner. They're like, oh, fuck you. And then they shot off. But eventually, everybody got taken prisoner or killed. Market Garden, complete failure. An effort to end the war. So, pretty little Russian girl. See her? She's a sniper. She likes to blow brains out. Love her. Oh. The Americans. He's got a nice, massive M16. I think it is. But anyway, it's got a lot of bullets. So, let's have a look what we can see here. A lot of trucks being loaded with bedding. Just belongings, really. I can't see too many people coming out of them. Make your own minds up. So, yeah, I bet they really piss one another off, these two. They're a bit of a problem, this Monty. It's like, keep your knees up, boy. That's right. Do you want to play leapfrog? No, I don't. Come on, let's play leapfrog. No, you're all right. And his face is like, God, this guy's an obnoxious psychopath. They were fighting the Americans over like who's going to invade or liberate what town, because the Americans are like, I think you'll find we got bigger guns and we're winning this war, Sonny. And he's like, but we live a lot closer and we fought them for 4 years on our own. It's like, well, we're here now. MacArthur's Park is waiting. Anyway, what a fucking horrible load of people. So I'm not sure what kind of train that is in the background. It looks like something out of Mad Max. I think these are Yugoslavians. There are some unbelievable photographs in here of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. One can only imagine what they were thinking, the Japanese. They won't surrender. They won't give up. And you've just got to kill them all to end it. Just unbelievable, actually. So it's freezing cold, but they are very, very well equipped, weren't they, for a while? But unfortunately, when they got to Stalingrad, they didn't have any winter clothing because they thought they would be home in time for the winter. But it didn't go on like that. How would you deliver food to a trench system? Like that. It's quite clever, isn't it? Okay, that's Yugoslavian flag, isn't it? Oh, no, it's Polish flag. So they've captured a half track. You won't find any of them either. All of the armaments of the German army have just disappeared off the face of the earth. Some more Americans. And they got some food going on. So I don't know what happened to black Americans when they got captured by the Germans, if they were treated differently in any way. I think they were just treated like everyone else. So yeah, deados. Don't dead dog us, Matt. I'm not. I don't dead dog anyone. There's a live dog. Ah. So yeah, I love dogs. They're awesome. No comment. Can only wonder how it vaporized her and kept her hair intact. One can only wonder. I'm not allowed to say anything. Not allowed, not allowed, even in an historical context. So this is on the roof of the Reichstag. The first boy that came up there had a load of watches proving that he was a thief. They made him, or they replaced the photograph and got this boy to put it up. He's only got one wristwatch on, so he's not a raving thief. Just government propaganda, which was just as big with the Russians as it was with the Americans. This is St. Paul's. Everything around it is on fire from a bombardment by the Luftwaffe, except for the cathedral. Amazingly, nothing. Fucking absolute miracle, isn't it? God almighty. Force that literally splattered this half track, and they've still got all of the Katyusha missiles there. This is a Katyusha launcher as well. Oh no, they were shells for that. Oh my God, they're still there. Okay, I have some moxie, my brother. Right, let's try and work out what's happening here. You know the official story, so I don't have to tell you. What we got here is a picture of a concentration camp. Okay. A very, very famous one. Not Auschwitz, another one. Okay, I'll mention in a minute. What can we see? Well, what I see is a wall. I see men with their hands up. I see American soldiers with guns pointing at the men with their arms up. And I see a ton of dead bodies on the floor. Am I not looking at a firing squad? Am I not looking at executions? It's Dachau, guys. Make your own mind up. I can't say. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. Okay, let's move on. The Japanese gave the British a hell of a time in World War II with prisoners. But they did a prisoner exchange where they sent them home, some of them. And, you know, everyone got to go home. Not everyone, but they did a lot of prisoner exchange. They've managed to get him out. He's not in the cockpit, the pilot, but the plane's American plane is ignited on landing and broken in two. But they've gotten him out. Precarious business landing on a ship that's going up and down. Check out the buildings here. Oh, advanced there. This is World War II, guys. The Russians, Berlin. Right. What you can witness in the background there, this mountain, is Mount Suribachi. This is Iwo Jima. And this is the landing craft for Iwo Jima. Okay. You may have seen John Wayne's The Sands of Iwo Jima or the Clint Eastwood films that will tell you all about it. I've looked into this extensively, guys, and what happened in Suribachi and everywhere else. Hell on earth is what Iwo Jima was. All for that couple of miles of islands just to get an airstrip on there, you know. And then they had to pick them all up then, the Germans, after. The Vatican got a load of SS out. The hierarchy got taken, I would say, to America. They want you to think South America. Nah. Paperclip went to America. The hire went to America. Why would they send all the scientists and not the hierarchy? Right. All in the same gang together. And these are two Luftwaffe ground troops wearing Italian uniforms. 1944. Interesting. So there's a map of Iwo Jima there on the wall, and they got to take Suribachi, which is an extinct volcano. I think there's a force of 28,000 Japanese, well armed, and well dug in. They were like ticks. It took, after the raising the flag of Iwo Jima, it took months and months to actually kill all of the been a while since they've had a bath, kill all of the poor the Japanese. So this is on the beach. The sand is black and it's also volcanic. They say that the sand, if you touched it, burnt your hand. It was red hot. These are the same version of Katyushas that the Russians were using, but the Americans, they must have been, the noise on them, you know what the Katyushas sound like, quick too. And you can see they're blocking their ears. And the Japanese are all underground, so it won't do anything. So there's that. Don't the Spanish and the French wear silly hats? Look at this. See, if they arrested me and then like or anything, or I had to fight with these hats on, I'd be giggling. So what happens when your ship gets torpedoed? Yes, Crafty Kim, we can. And I'm arranging it. This is, you envision it too. We all envision Tartaria is coming. So yeah, the shipping torpedo. This guy hasn't made it. They're in thick oil. And I can only imagine to get up this ladder, this bosun's ladder, is going to take a lot of strength. I think that they're in so much trouble there. You can see. Just blows my mind off, guys. Just blows my mind to think that these are human beings and what they did. And not in my lifetime, but in my mother's. Here is a Russian, and he's showing off with a German Panzerstrecht. He's got German Panzerstrecht. That's what the Germans used for blowing up tanks in the Battle of Berlin with great effect. Some German tanks, some young Germans loving their tanks. And the Americans with their Shermans once they come on the scene. Flat foot flugy, fat foot flugy, that one's called. Such a 1940s thinking. Oh shit, excuse me. Let's go back. The Art of Triomphe, the Germans, after they took France. France capitulated way too easily. The British would never do anything like that. Sorry. But mind you, the British didn't have Verdun in the First World War. We had the Somme. So that's not the excuse. Anyway, that's their business. So, yeah, you got to have a load of fuel. Otherwise, you ain't going nowhere. So that's like really important. Look how clear this picture is. So that's the forest of Ardennes on the build up to get the Germans when they came through for the... Right. These have just been in battle, young men. This young boy here who's drinking a cup of tea, he hasn't got anywhere on his body without any damage, guys. He's covered in blood. I'm sure it's not his own. Every bit of his hands are covered. His face is covered. They're all in shock. I just can't imagine. Oh God, my head. Wow. So I hope you are enjoying these. I think these photographs are very telling. This girl was executed, by the way. Don't want to go into that either. So this is the German Inquisitor. That's his name. He's a judge. You can see him on YouTube screaming at apparent communists who have been accused of blowing up the Reichstag. But there's no evidence that they did. It was just propaganda. This guy screams his head off. You can see her on YouTube, this trial. An absolute animal, this man is. But he put plenty of people to their death. Well, it must have been exciting days trying to stop a kamikaze pilot. He's going to drive his plane, his Zero, into the side of your ship. A bloke is going to do that. So you got to shoot it before it comes and crashes into you. With all of the firepower you got, which is a lot, actually. Whew. Just nuts to think. So this is the Iwo Jima flag, but this is not the original. They basically said this is such a good marketing ploy. Can you put a bigger flag up with a bigger pole? So they took this one down and replaced it. They gave this to a general. But yeah, they replaced it, same as the Russians did with their flag rising. Or propaganda. Zhirkov, I think his name is, in the Russian High Command. Just sends more people, their own people, to their death than the enemy's. Bunkers side of the hills, and the Germans inspecting them. They've already been blown up. So, wow. We're moving on. So yeah, the state of Europe after the war looked pretty much like this. A lot of the towns, a lot of the cities, some places escaped, but most places look like that. Okay, let's have a look at this. Any of you know who this is? Well, they called him the Good Nazi. It's Albert Speer, architect for Adolf Hitler. Armaments minister. His body language is, oh my God, what have we done? He lives on after the Nuremberg trials. He ends up on Michael Parkinson's show by the 1970s after a number of years in jail. But I bet it was an open prison, being elite the way he is. But Albert Speer has had a shitful in that photo. Very telling. Okay, the last battle, going to the Rhine, I imagine. Reichsgrenze. Not sure what that means. Wow. Got all them pineapples. The hand grenades. So, yeah, he got away with it. He's German. He's just survived. He's got his life thing on. I'm guessing he was on a plane because he's an airman and he's been picked up. He survived. Lucky as fuck. So that's what you do between battles, is get your head down while you can, get off to the next town and hope and pray you don't get blown up or shot. Now, I don't know her struggle, but you can see that she hasn't paid any personal attention to her hair in quite some time. And I'm sort of feeling, because the size of the grave, that is a smaller person in there. If you know what I mean. Ow. So yeah, just young men. And if there was no war, they'd be able to talk to one another like with the enemy, you know, because there is no enemy. The Germans and the British or the English are pretty much the same people, Saxons. And the Russians and the Japanese in World War II, it just boggles my mind to think that the way that they are, the way that they performed, just absolutely unbelievable. Things like that are going on in the modern day. They just keep it all quiet. She reminds me of my mother. I don't know why. She didn't even look like that, but because she's old, that's what it is. So she's taking all of her belongings with her in a bag. I wonder how long she's going to survive. Cry. It's awful. Anti-tank bazooka gun here. Let's move on. Death's Head Squadron. He is. He looks a real bastard. Well, he's Death's Head Squadron. SS, probably. Oh, I don't know if he's Death Squad. So another thing that happened in Berlin is a lot of the men dressed as women. No, obviously they didn't get raped, but they, you know, so that they could not get executed or shot. They posed as women, some men. So yeah, coming up to, there's a good few to go through. I'm going to whiz through these quick, and then I'm going to take you up to images of the day. That's the German surrendering in Berlin. See, if I was to time travel, I'd go and look. I'd go and look at. Can't stand. I can't see cruelty to animals or anything like that, guys. Just too much for me. So yeah, I got a friend, Dave Mann, my friend, the truth of the flat earther. He was a tank commander in South Africa. Fought in the biggest tank battle since the Battle of Kursk against Angola in the war, in the Angolan War. Can you imagine what he's seen? She looks pretty, don't she, for her dead, though? She's got 2 bullet holes in her head, though. So come here, she hasn't got an exit. Why hasn't she got an exit wound? Maybe it is. Maybe they went in that way and the back of her skull's missing. I don't know. Too much detail, Matt. But, you know, if you're doing a detective job, which is what I'm doing, and examining photos, because it's like conflicting with the official narrative all of the time. You there. You. Yes, you. Snap his finger. Just grab his finger and snap it. So, let's move on. I don't know what's happened to the Kriegsmarine. That was the name of the German army, actually, before there was the German army was a Kriegsmarine. I mean, not know that during the Weimar Republic. They're blindfolded, so they don't see where they're going, or they've been blinded. I don't know. I think he can see a little bit. You're bound to be able to see a little bit through there. These are these Katyushas missiles. The US Army are using them as well. Multiple missiles. Oh, here's a couple of. I think it's General. Is it General MacArthur and is it? What's his name? Can't remember. Anyway. So yeah, the Germans only had young boys towards the end. So that was no great hardship, was it, for the armies to go and just fight a load of kids? Like this boy here, all of, what, 12 years of age. He's got a Panzerstreck, and he's about to go and take a tank out in the Battle of Berlin. Nowadays, they're doing it on computer games, not real. Hope he lived. He looks sad. I think I should give up this. I'm not getting all like emotionally affected now. I knew I would. Did last night looking through some. This man's been disfigured, dismembered. His face is all. He's got a Panzerstreck in his hand, and he's going to take her to. This is like one thing you do not get in photographs a lot is action shots. You don't see too many people. I've had to remove some really graphic photographs from here. I won't be able to show them on YouTube that I've never seen before, which gave me a physical response. I mean, Dave was bad, really bad. So it's a funny name to give him, fucking True Man, and he wasn't very true, is he? And then you got psychopathic murderer and another psychopathic murderer. The big three at the end. I think this is Yalta conference. He's about to be prime minister because he don't make a next term because no one gives a shit. They've had a guts full of him, all the death, and taking Britain into a needless war. We didn't have to go to war with Germany. Hitler literally said, I really respect you guys. I'm not going to go and take you over. You can work with me if you like. So treated as heroes in many countries like the Ukraine and as liberators, not as a vicious enemy. Here's Monty going across the Rhine after it's all been cleared, actually, because the battle's all gone quieter. Yeah, and he was a keep fit fanatic, apparently a bit of a psycho, ain't he all? It's like the movies, but only real. It's just crazy. I'm sure the Japanese, like compared to like the people of today, because they're like the Japanese today are all like cosplay and weird computer games and computer geeks. Go back like 80 years ago, and they were fanatical cult members that would scream bonsai and die for their cause. So is this Tojo? Well, they didn't arrest Hirohito. He went on. Even the Queen of England went to his funeral. I was disgusted after the Burma Railway. And Tojo, Prime Minister for Japan, he's arrested, but he carries on. He carries on. They don't kill him on that thing. All that millions of war crimes. The size of these bombs they drop on cities with the flying fortresses, which are not as sturdy as you might imagine. I can show you the inside of one of them in a minute. Shit. As far as the eye can see. So yeah, this is prisoners of Italy. Italian prisoners in the Battle of El Alamein, the first British victory in World War II, in North Africa, in Libya. And these are the prisoners, the Italians. Rounded up. But we didn't like bump them off or anything. No, anyway, this is back to Stalingrad. The most vicious battle in human history, I would say. Wait till Christmas comes and it snows. Stalingrad again. Whew. So I've got 369 of you. Welcome to my late flat today. I'm going to be going through some images of the day. I'm going to hurry through these because I'm literally in pain with my back. Oh dear. He's gone to sleep in his arms. Wow. Shit. What's he got on there? Benito Finito. A little comedian Hitler. And I don't know who this one is. Yeah, quite a lot of humor involved with murdering of millions, isn't there? So years before Truman, Roosevelt, in one of the other meetings that they had of the big three. So they're not really getting on, Churchill and Stalin. Apparently, he's seen him naked and he said, oh my God. He said, oh, the Prime Minister of Britain has nothing to hide from the President of America. And he went, quite so. That's General Alexander right there from the First World War. Alex, see him? He's a bastard from what I've read in the First World War. General Alexandra. So yeah, buddying up with the Russians in the war was a bit weird. So yeah, if you're in a landing craft, duck, because there's bullets whizzing across your head that just can like instantly kill you. So that's pretty shit. U-boats. So look what they're doing on the U-boats. I reckon that would have been a good life on the U-boat. We all love the Das Boat film. Bit tense, but as long as you can survive them depth charges, all's good. So yeah, this is Churchill's visit to the desert. Apparently caught pneumonia visiting the desert because the night air is so cold. So maybe he should have just stayed home. I love a Vickers machine gun, water cooled. This isn't actually authentic because it's a 3-man crew, 2 at the very minimum for a Vickers machine gun because you need someone to feed the bullets in and to constantly change the water. These get red hot. In the First World War, they used to pee over the nozzle. But what a vicious gun, man! Oh man, what that can do. So the parade ground's a bit muddy. I bet they didn't keep their shoes bloody Bloody clean. Okinawa. Oh, man. Flamethrowers. No wonder he came out. This is what this guy got, flamethrowers. Jesus. So fucking horrible. So this is a British big gun. And they also, the Big Berthas, the Germans had some. But this one, right, if you just drop the cannon, you can reverse it back into the railway tunnel. And that would shoot straight across the channel to the Germans. I'll show what that tank is. It's a bit of a crazy one, that is. I think it's French. And the Russians relaxing on the beach, acting all civilized. They won't when they get to Berlin, though. He looks remarkably like my father. I mean, really like my father. It's uncanny. First time I seen him, I was like, shit, that looks like my old man, young. So weird. Thanks, Russia. Thanks, America. I'm sure we'll be friends now for the next 50 years. Yeah, we will. We'll go on space. We'll go to space together. So, searching the boy. Okay, we're moving on. There's the king. He's checking out these because they're going to land in Pegasus Bridge on part of the early stages of D-Day, taking out some bridges and stuff. They're going to land in some gliders. Some of them didn't make it, as you know. Or may not know. Look at this. It's the liberation of a camp. Let's drive over the fence. So I don't think they were enemies. I think they were all in it together, and this is why. So, for example, the bombing of Coventry. Okay, so Coventry is near Birmingham in the centre of England. Okay, and it is 100 miles from the sea. So they want you to believe that an entire squadron of German bombers flew across the North Sea, flew across 100 miles of Britain without any hindrance, dropped a shit ton of bombs onto Coventry, completely destroyed it, including Coventry Cathedral, flew all the way back to Germany after their sortie, unhindered. Does that even make any sense? 100 miles inland. Here's Chamberlain. What a spanner he was. Yeah, so he's gone off to sign, like in the beginning of before the war, non-aggression pact with Germany, with Hitler. He comes back waving. He said, "Oh, it's great news, guys. We're never going to have a war with Germany ever until like next year." There he is again, Monty. Don't like that guy one bit. These are epic. I fucking love these. These are like rock stars. They want to make movies out of these. I think they have, actually. These are what you might regard as the SAS, but then they were the SOE. These are a specialist unit of British troops. The toughest you can find. And what they do, look at him. He's like a movie star. They painted their Jeeps pink, right? Because you can't see pink in the desert night, yeah? And they raided in the Battle of North Africa, enemy camps. They go in with jimpies on the back of their Jeeps and they just blow all the camps up, kill everyone, right? Yeah. And then they drive back to camp. Literally perfect ambushes, one after the other. And these are the SOE, the British, what became the SAS later. Absolutely fantastic work. And they look really epic and hard. Yeah. This is where the British Empire needs more of these people. Oh, the British Empire's gone. I forgot. What Britain needs more heroes like them. They're going fucking jimpy some enemy camps up. Yeah, man. So that's a Tiger tank. They are massive, aren't they? So none of them existing either. Don't know where they get them in the movies. So let's have a look at these. They look Korean. So the war didn't really end in World War II. It just carried on. It went over to Korea, and then it was just extended out into Vietnam, and then on with the Middle East. Use a B-52. I have to drop a bomb on Hiroshima. I don't know why I'm laughing. Yeah, it's crazy that you just catch that moment in time, you know, when there's so much going on and so much, you know, some of it is like, you know, just happens, but some of it is while it's happening. Yeah, they're going up with the second flag in Iwo Jima, the first one they took down. So the Marines under fire carrying the flag up to Suribachi for the first flag. This is the first flag. The second one is the one we've seen earlier, sorry. It's a smaller flag. And then all of the ships go, wah, wah. We've taken Suribachi. We've literally taken Iwo Jima, only they hadn't. It took months. Oh, there's Bernhard Kruger there, 1947. He lived. SS member. Russian Secret Service, NKVD, they're horrible people. That's what he is. Oh my God. I know he looks a bit, but he's done some horrible things. Oh, fucking hell. Nice blue pants. Didn't know they wore blue pants. It's different, isn't it? It's not very camouflagey, though, is it? It's all over for you boys. You're going home. Unfortunately, your home's not there anymore. It's been blown up. So there's Japanese prisoners. All sorry now, isn't they? So you should be glad for an explosion. Wow. Guys, these just blow my head off. Look at this. This is Dunkirk from above. Right? You know they evacuated hundreds of thousands off the beaches. They're on the beaches. And this is it from above. The Americans. Dunkirk docks. I've been in here. I went into a pub in Dunkirk docks, and there was a blonde woman behind the counter, and she said, "Oh no, there's no British allowed in here. No English allowed in here." I went, "Oh, that's all right, because I'm Welsh." She had specially Welsh. I was like, "Ooh, fucking hell." Okay, then turned around. I think it's because of what happened in Dunkirk. I don't think they're happy with us. Anyway, she was hot as well. Really hot blonde woman. Nasty ass attitude though. Fucking horrible. Anyway, I'm sure I've given my vengeance to France more than once in my lifetime. Look at that. Just mind-blowing quality photography. Caught in the moment, planes crashing on impact. And this is taking supplies across the lake to Stalingrad. It's the only thing that supplied it except for the airdrops. And when that thawed, you wouldn't have been able to get anything to the Germans that were trapped in the castle. That's the British with a beautiful Vickers gun. German High Command. They always pull the biggest, best buildings for their HQs and stuff. They just take them over. Battle plans, secrets, all sorts going on. Here's the British. I think they might be in Burma or somewhere. He's like 10 or something. He's like, it's just a little kid. What's he doing on the battlefield? Jesus. Oh, that's a good way to not get tracked walking the river. What's he got on his back, that horse? I don't know, but it looks very, very heavy. Liberation. Just had your town liberated. I'm guessing that's Italy. She's happy. He's the only one with a bird, though. He's happy for him, lah. But he's the only one with a bird. It's all right now. Oh, shit. So, Propaganda Minister Goebbels meeting his Germans before they go into the last battle of their history in the Battle of Berlin. And he's very proud, this little kid. So, it's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. Yeah, right, evil guy he was. Apparently killed his own wife and kids. Magda and the kids. I don't believe it, though. Don't believe any of them died in the bunker. I think they all went to America. Probably had facelifts and ended up in American government. And their descendants, one of them is the leader of America right now. If he's not an Aryan, blonde hair or blue eyes, literally acts exactly like Hitler. Isn't he related somewhere? I think so. I think he's definitely a descendant of him. That's a British man surrendering in his dugout. But he's not being shot, is he? So how many Japanese have he shot down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Ooh, he's had a good day, haven't he? That's how many zeros he's shot down. There's men in them. Oh, look at these battleships they had in the past. Jesus. Whew. They could lay it down. It's all gun. Wow. Just don't even want to think about it. Just madness. So there's the Russian Zhukov with Stalin, who hates his guts because he's soaking up all of his fan page and he's getting more subscribers. And then when he rides on a white horse in their victory procession, he's got a face like a smacked ass Stalin. He's like, I wanted to do that, but I got bad arm, so I can't do anything. So the people have it the hardest, you see. It's this class system, isn't it? It's them, the workers, the middle class, and them. So, oh yeah, that would have been a brilliant job. Oh yeah, I would have preferred to be in one of those glass domes with a big machine gun. But yeah, laying that down, oh, that would have been brilliant. Love that. Sorry, guys, but like boys like war. So yeah, this is on the Rhine. See these boys here on a gun position, and the bridges across the Rhine all blown up. They didn't have an easy time crossing the Rhine. Oh, so these are Japanese prisoners in Okinawa, and this is a sad picture of humanity. How old's that boy? What's he doing in the army? What's he doing in the army? What's he doing in the army? Shit. Anti-aircraft, 88s. Absolutely devastating armory. Sorry, my head's just blown off that photo. Just keep... Are these old stones or just geology? Maybe geology. Let's move on. The German prisoners. So they never had proper camps. They were kept in the open air. The Russian camps were inhuman. I'm guessing that if they had to surrender, they had to surrender to the British or Americans to stand any chance of survival. If they surrendered to the Russians, there was almost zero chance of survival because they'd march them all to some camp further east and they would all die on the march, most of them. So here is American general and he's inspecting the gallows because they're going to be bumping a few off later. So it's the nature of war. So yeah, we're just going to hang a shit ton of people later. Berlin. She got a swastika painted on her back. Somebody's put her on there. So what I think is I don't know exactly, but I do know because I got a collection of photographs of women that were treated terribly for fraternizing with the enemy, basically sleeping with Germans. They usually shaved their hair off, but they treated them like shit and made them do menial tasks like So I think that's what it is. The men after the war had ended. Got to take it out on someone, haven't they? Seems to be the case. There's the Politburo, the Japanese High Command signing the surrender to Stalin. He's thinking, what am I going to do now? The war's over. Indeed. All right, we're coming to the end of these photos soon, guys, and I'm going to be taking a break because I'm literally in pain, and I'm going to be doing the images of the week. He's not too bothered, is he? They look happy on their march. Maybe they had a bit of success. The flying fortresses. Amazing. The technological advancements in the World War II were just amazing. So much got invented, and then just not around anymore. You know, the Germans, what do you think they did for fuel? Well, they had synthetic oil. They literally invented synthetic oil, or coal oil, for fuck's sake. So they didn't have to rely on, you know, external oil. So yeah, synthetic oil. Where's that now? Where's synthetic oil now? Have they had it? Every picture says 1,000 words. Some I don't even have to comment on. I'm sure you can just appreciate these, how unbelievably quality photos these are. I mean, I ain't seen any of these guys ever. And I've got so many war photographs. See what his eyes are saying? Thank you, God. He nearly died just now, and they just pulled him out of the water. And that look on his face is, oh my God, I just survived. Says it all, doesn't it? Look at that. Well, I'm glad he made it. So there's a German pilot just come back off a little dogfight up in the air. Battle of Britain, maybe. British, exactly the same type of people. They're doing Smell My Finger. Don't know why they're doing that. And here is a dashing young captain. He's not, he's just a soldier, but he's with all the nurses. I don't know. So yeah, there's a crashed bomber here. It's not a B-52, but you can see that it's just ply, maybe, and covered in, well, canvas covering. I think it's canvas. Is that aluminium? No, I don't think it is. Some aluminium, maybe, yeah. But yeah, lightweight and of, like, you know, light products, not steel or anything. I don't suppose they thought they were going to stay up there long enough. Prisoners of war. So yeah, fucking hell, what a shit show this world is to do things like this. They did this to the human race, and then they have like 100 years of war, and now they just had another weird thing, and now they're just psyoping us to hell. It's just unbelievable. We'll see some of the things that happened this week. So yeah, work makes freedom. This is Auschwitz gates opened. You can see a guard there in the background. I'm not sure what nationality he is. Okay, obviously, they've had a hard time. I'm not saying they haven't, but they're not Skellingtons. That place is massive anyway, like a city. They got a theatre, they got a cinema, orchestra. But, you know, Hollywood has like done an excellent job of propaganda, especially when it comes to the Second World War. Really. And they're all in it together. So who's doing it exactly? Ooh, Bren gun. Loves a Bren gun. Now, this is probably a point man on in the Burma, Myanmar, whatever it's called now, and he's got a Bren. I'd love to have a go with a Bren. Apparently they're exceptionally noisy. So that'd be fun. There's not many Bren guns around now, though, unless you went to like a shooting range somewhere abroad. Not allowed to think like that in Britain, but abroad, oh, it's fucking groovy. The communist dictatorship of Britain, not allowed. Okay, we're moving on. I don't know how many pictures I got left. There's the Reichstag during the Battle of Berlin and the Russians. Boo! For that, well, this is like they didn't even call it World War II. They called it the Great Patriotic War. So according to like the Russians, that nobody else was really winning the war. We did it all. There is an element of truth to that. They did make more sacrifice than most countries, but the biggest sacrifice, I think, was the Germans, the German people. Excuse me. Oh, what just happened there? Just skipped a few. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah, there's only a couple more now, and then we're going to be, I'll come back. This is where you don't want to find yourself, is in a landing craft on the way back. Well, you do want to find yourself there, because otherwise you'd be dead. Shit. Oh boy, that's not good. And they're just boys, aren't they? That's all they had left at the end of the war, the Germans, because all of the men had been killed. Booty. See all these boxes? You may have seen the film Monuments Men. They had whole caves full of all artworks. Apparently the Germans were collecting booty. And the War Office worked so hard that you just pass out like this. Because everyone in the war was working round the clock. Everyone was knackered. The whole world was knackered. And then we have rationing after the war. Lasts like until the 1950s. Germany, who lost the war, their rationing was over years before ours. Have a think about that. Who won the war exactly? Excuse me. So yeah, my God, what a unbelievable set of photographs. So if you have had any emotional feelings, I think it's important to see these things anyway, because it's of an historical discourse. Hi, Azal. Good to see you, my man. What's going on, my brother? You see me? See you, Martin. Going home with you, mate. It's Australia, though, isn't it? Okay, love you, brother. You take it easy. Okay, we go. No politician has ever had a ration his food. No, they never did. They never. I got some ration booklets in a box belonged to my grandmother. Still got some left. Crazy. I got a lot of that war stuff though. Got my grandfather's bag that he come back from the war with. I love you guys. That's from Marcel. Marcel's loves you guys. Love you back. We love you, Marcel. Amos, good to see you. What's happening, my man? Or woman? Let's have a look. No, you're my man. Good to see you. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to show you images of the day. I don't know how long I've been talking. 2 hours, that's all right. I think I'll survive to the end of this vlog. So yeah, I've been treating myself with a Rife machine, and I'll give you another feedback on that later. A lot of people interested in the results of it, but like I said, it's still in the experimental stage at the moment, and it takes some time. Letting go and forgiveness is the hardest part. Well, I found Free Soul Hippie thinking this earlier on, actually. I was doing a bit of housework. And it occurred to me how much of a really angry young man I was. And I was bitter at, like, just being robbed of my birthright. And I was angry to the point that I just, like, was, kill the humans, kill them all. That sort of mentality. Absolutely had a guts full of it. It's all gone. it's been donkey's years since I thought like that. And, you know, I hardly ever get angry about anything, properly loosey-goosey. And I've just let it all go. I've let the anger go. The biggest thing you've got to do is, never mind forgive them. I think the biggest thing you've got to do is forgive yourself. Just forgive yourself. It's like, okay, you know, I have value, I am worth something, and I forgive myself for all of that, you know, stuff that I'm hung out about, because the world was a completely different place years ago, guys. This is not the same realm, okay? Not the same realm. Polish officer, was it? Oh, thank you. I've got some pictures of the Polish liberation of Bologna, and oh, they're really, really beautiful and emotional. The Free Polish Army liberated a few cities. They had quite a few, 90,000 troops. Polish Free Army had. Trazel. First Nobel. Yeah, Nobel. Nobels. First noble truth, life is suffering. Your torture will continue until you unconditionally love us. Life is an act, nothing more. I know it is, Marcel. And who are the props in your play? You're playing the role. That's so sad. Yeah, my intention is not for you to be sad. It's to be educated. And the narrative for the World War II just makes little sense, guys. Think about it. And it's propaganda from them, isn't it? Both sides are telling bullshit. Let go is so important, but can be so hard. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Any of this in the work, or doing any of this work on ourselves is hard, guys. Nothing is easy in this place, but the benefits are just worth, doing it, making the effort. John, good to see you, Mama. Jonathan Beardsley. Every debate I listen to, gravity is about brought into it. Oh, fucking gravity and dinosaurs. That's got to go, all of it, mate. Don't worry about it. Shh. So, yeah, still in need for my political party, a deputy leader who is going to be leader when I'm not around. So, yeah, what craziness has happened this week? Well, fucking hell. David Wilcox has popped his clogs, haven't he? I used to enjoy David Wilcox's book years ago when I was first into quantum mechanics. I used to read him. About the alien stuff and all that. No, I know people who know David Wilcox, and the whole narrative for what he's supposed to have done, I don't agree with that. I think that it's the industry again. But apparently he owned millions of tax. So, yeah, David Wilcox of Gaia TV and all of that shilly stuff is no longer with us. Did anyone see Trump earlier? So he's at some convention, and so apparently some bullets or some shots went off that you do not hear. And then they rushed J.D. Vance out by grabbing him by the scruff of his neck. I shit you not. And then the camera it's just trained on the president and J.D. Vance. It doesn't go to have a look where the shooter is. Find that really unusual that you wouldn't try and see the shooter. And then they drag Trump out of the chair and he bites the dust. He falls the fuck over. Yeah. And then they drag him off behind the curtain in a theatre, a bit like the Wizard of Oz. So that all happened earlier. I don't know if you've seen it, what a bag of balls that is. It's like having his ear shot off. When you see the take responsibility for our errors, you're on the right track, even if it goes slow. Well, thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you, Dallas, my brother. Much love to you, my friend. Play Spoken Jay. Hiya. Lovely. So, yeah, we'll do some images of the day. There's some juicy stuff in here. Some more wow factor again. Trump's convention, that looks all staged. No shit, Sherlock. It fucking definitely looks super staged. That camera, just watching it all and not training his camera on the shooter, is like, oh, the Hindenburg just come down. I'll fucking film the field. It makes no sense. Like nothing. Just no. No. Never psyop. Bob Sykes says, simply loving the Second World War stuff. Guessing we are all starring in the Great Escape remake. Oh, I definitely feel we're in a movie. How you doing, Marianne, sweetness? All right, let's look at some images of the day then, because I don't want to be here forever. Back's looking at me. I am really grateful for you to turn up, guys, today. And I've got loads more to share this week, guys. Loads. This is a small portion of all of what I got to come out this week. No fear, hear dear. Do you hear that? No fear, hear dear. This has got to be the epicest channel in the world. Dallas Fowler, you're a legend. You're a legend. A legend. Gary, what are you saying? The T word says it all. The state of the world today is poor comic run shit show. Don't worry, I may give a fuck land removed. You know that. Crap. Just tuned in and didn't know I was gutted. Oh, mate. Don't worry, we got some images to show now. There's going to be some good stuff there. Yeah, thanks, Jonathan Beardsley. Good to see you again, my friend. And lovely vibes, isn't yours? Okay. 33 Freemasons, Agents Kale. Wankers. Okay. Let's get stuck into some more usage. YouTube limits speech and very anti-freedom. Yes, it is, Marcel. Very anti-freedom. I noticed this. So sad about David Wilcox. Such a strange travesty. Well, he did think he was a reincarnation of Edgar Casey, and he does. The young David Wilcox is a ringer for Edward Casey, but Edward Casey was like a proper psychic. I don't think that what they said he did, it doesn't ring true to me. I think something's happened to him. Maybe he didn't play the game. Anyway, contract's over. He's gone. R.I.P. Feelings. We've got feelings. You got to watch them feelings. They'll get you. Broski. Good to see you, my man. Okay, we can get some images of the day in, and then I will go on and skip off. Today, I am Captain Marticus von Sing-a-Song. Whatever song you want. It's karaoke. In your Brian. Okay. Let's have a look at some images then, shall we? Now, these are Phoenicians. First time I seen these was they were sticking out their heads out of exactly the same portals on the side of a church in Newport Road in Cardiff. I walked past them and I thought to myself, who the fuck are you? I see you people everywhere. He looks like Canto out of Paradise Lost, doesn't he? Anyway, the point what I'm trying to make here is they are all sticking their heads through a portal, a ship's portal. Are they not? I think they're ship's portals. Each one of them have got a different cymatic pattern. Each one of them. Their own vibration, coded in their architecture. Yeah, I got loads of these old paintings to show you the post-apocalyptic world after Mudflood reset. And you can see Hermes is on a statue here. I'm guessing this is supposed to be Egypt, but it's all green and grassy and not the world we see there today. So, this place is getting a bombardment. It's the Hotel de Ville in 1792, and it's getting a bombardment, okay? And the bombs are coming over. They're landing, and then they're picking them up with a hat, and then they're chucking them in a bowl of water. And all of the people are in the square to watch the bombs come over and land. Is that safe? What if the bomb come over and landed in the crowd? Would that be unsafe? Yes, it would be. I don't know what the crowd are doing there watching them capture cannonballs. It's like a game. It makes no sense. And what is he doing up on the church roof? He's putting a Parisian hat on a spire. Don't even go there. This is an unusual map. You can see it's a map of China, and you can see the Korean peninsula here. So what is, oh, excuse me, what is this? Well, that's India. Okay, this is the Indian country. But on this map, it shows that India has a big fuck off ocean in the middle of it. And I can't see any Sri Lanka. But that is, according to this map, India, which has a large ocean, according to that map. And this is Korea and all that is China. Shit cartography too. In my house, there's a picture on the wall. Rastafari being Phoenician. Look at him with his Cherabanooskis. So, yeah, he's really big. If you're a Rasta, you're going to be really into Haile Selassie, aren't you? But did you know that he was a completely capitalistic Phoenician? He loved the dollars, and he's got definitely Knight of Malta and the rest of it. And he's got 2 Phoenicians as well. And he's sat on his big throne. It's not very peoply, is it? Not a fan with that photograph. Right, flying buttress. Excuse me. Year or 2 year. I told you I'm going to do a vlog on this. This elevation here with the bells, 100% doesn't need a flying buttress to hold up the elevation. This is showing me that this tower here is the top of a tower and the rest is underground. Because you wouldn't need to support that wall with 2 over elaborate flying buttress to hold it in place if it's that low. That's not what they designed for. That's not even what they do. They're for high elevations walls, so they don't pop out. That's not what you get on a tower. Makes no sense. So this eagle got solidified in the great densification. You see it? Thank you, Shin Shasti. I can't say that name, lovely. It's too much for my head. Anyway, I think it's an eagle. So, yeah, what we'll do on this tiny little island in the middle of the Pacific is we'll carve out these men and then we'll bury them 30 foot in the mud. Or is it likely that they were on ground level when they were made and the mud come in later? Yeah, you wouldn't bury them. That makes no sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't bother chiseling them out in the first place, would you? Another angel. Flat Earth Society flattened by house fire. Now, obviously, that is a psyop. All flat earthers know that, but in the past, that was how they regarded the flat Earth. Okay, so apparently, in Lancaster, California, there was a Flat Earth Society, Johnson Flat Earth Philosophy, and then the whole place was burnt down in a fire. Was that deliberate? Somebody torched the flat earthers. Well, they blame flat earthers for everything in the world. You denied this, you denied that. You denied this, you denied that. I'd be like, no, I never. See, you just denied denying. No, I never. You denied denying. So, no, I never. Just could go on and on. So, yeah, this is obviously a massive building from Antiquity. I just want you to dig the size of the people. Obviously, a lot of it is missing. Something's happened. Great detail and paintings. The roof's sort of missing there. And all the columns. And the people are tiny compared to the building. Tiny. Like the little tiny things. So they got weapons on the old Hellenistic coins. Got Greek or Roman. They got the fasces, Zeus's weapon. Eagle wings open fasces. Double fleur-de-lis, which is essentially like a Vajra, if you like, 2 opposing Tauruses, which is the same as the 2 opposing Tauruses of the Vajra-looking implement by here, which is actually Zeus's fasces, which you can see in Zeus's hand here, the fasces. And here is Liberty, who in this case got reptilian skin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly the same as the Statue of Liberty. Eagle wings open on this one. Laurel leaf of control. Laurel leaf. And some sort of emperor or emperor, because all of this is analogous for electromagnetic technology of the old world. Stereophonics, 1703, played in a Starfort. I think it says Snetiophonics. Definitely think the Phoenicians built these Starforts a long time ago, because they're the masters of water, and these things are to do with water. So mud flood, not a thing. How do you explain this is below ground level? Doors and windows below ground level. Okay, I know this is an AI generated image. I just find it a good little vision of what it would be like post-apocalypse to walk in the remnants of the old world, and when all of the water receded and everything dried out. And then the information that they needed was chiseled into stone. So they got the information because computer codes and all that was all drowned. So they chiseled the info that they needed into stone, and then they picked it up post-reset, which is what's going on here. It's all about the information. So here's Jesus here. Don't know exactly what's going on, except he's in the Middle Ages setting again. So, and people like, he's got a beam of light on his head disc, and they got discs. No one else got discs. So they're all holy men. The air conditioning suits in the Victorian era, there's a reason they had top hats on. I think it's possibly air conditioning. Maybe they put an ice pack in there to keep their heads cool. But you can see that this guy, you can buy this in the old days apparently, is natural air conditioning. It's like a cooling system. I like it. I think it's really good. Innovative invention is what I think. So yeah, and then when the Phoenicians came along, they, after the post-reset world, you can see the resets already happened, all the damage, and then they splattered everything with their weird deities and their goddesses. Gods, Phoenicians, here, everywhere, on every inch. But you can see the plants, because all of this was covered in mud and water and all of the damage. So the apocalypse has happened, and then shows you that it's been covered up with Phoenician weirdness. And that's what happens all over the world. Taken out of Tartaria, and the biggest cover-up in history, the cover-up by the Phoenicians, which is still ongoing. Father Cresby's interesting. As you know, he lived in the jungle in South America, and people kept bringing him presents like Mesopotamian art and stuff that was from Sumer, apparently, and giants' crowns that belonged to giants. Father Cresby, I was going to do a post on him, but it was so Gaia, I thought, no, I can't level one truth in, yo. So there's the Moai in Easter Island. I think you could put a rope across them to catch balloons. But there are evidence of antiquity below the mud, which they don't really tell you about or what that stuff is. In fact, I haven't seen any reference to it on any documentary whatsoever. I've watched God knows how many on Easter Island, that's for sure. So a giant horse's head from the Roman world, apparently, in a museum. And she's a bit of a cheater. Oh, no, she's got a cheetah. I love that. Imagine having a cheetah. Or any animal. I'd love any animal. So, yeah, in the past, they used to charge up cars using electricity. And then, obviously, it went to fossil fuels, like backwards. And now it's going back to electricity 100 years later, mind. Go figure. This is the building of Buckingham Palace. No, it's not. It's the refurb of Buckingham Palace. I got pictures of it way back. It looks like a completely different building. And then apparently they tarted it up. So this is Buckingham Palace in there somewhere, believe it or not. That's what it looks like now. And it's taken, that's the back of it. There's a big lake. You may know there's the function suite where all of them can go, give it another slam, Sir Michael. Whack. Oh, that hurt. I'm sure they don't. They probably do, actually. Yeah, war is hell. This is from the clock tower in Cardiff Castle, looking at the old Cardiff. You can see all the masts of the ships of the biggest port in the world, coal port in the world at the time. This street here is called Duke Street, and they knocked it down in beginning of the 1900s and made a green outside the castle. But it looks like some ancient, really interesting old buildings that they knocked down. Unfortunate. So some crazy engravings. I can't tell you what's going on with them outside of a demon flying in. So maybe that really happened. Don't know. There's another demon. This one escaped as well, and they're chasing it. It's like, give him a job. Get him to work for us. And here's Bacchus. Bacchus has fucked himself up. Look, he's got all the books. Okay, so he's stolen all the books, Bacchus. And he's on a crutch. Bacchus has got himself hurt. I wonder what happened there. So, yeah, St. Michael. Let's have a look what he's up to. Go on, Michael. Killing demons again? Yo, girl, go. If I don't comment, it's because I can comment. These are obviously papal people, and they are shown as like skeletons. I wonder if like they are all literally looking like that underneath, like they live. Shapeshifters, like really ugly. See them in their demonic form, guys. I sort of do actually, because I can see shit like that. I sort of do see them in there. Not really see them like with a demon face, but the adjacent demon face. I see it with Trump, and I see it with Starmer. They're going to be in deep shit, aren't they? My God. Humbugging. Or raising the devil. So you get the devil to buff it up. Yeah. And you say, yo, devil, give me some stuff. Make me play guitar like Rob Johnson or Jimmy Page. It's like, don't you want to play guitar like Jimi Hendrix? It's like, yeah, I want to play Jimi Hendrix guitar. So you got to give me your soul. Sign here. So this is Christian and Apollyon. And they're having a bit of fisticuffs. Christian in combat with Apollyon. Who won? My money's on the ugly one. Okay. Get back in. We're on fire though, Lord. Get fucking back in there. I said. Did I say you could leave? No, you didn't actually, Lord. Get back in there. He's got a red cape on. That might not be what's happening. He's maybe saving them. Let's have a look if he saves anyone. Yeah. Okay. This is post-death. Okay. Post-death seems weird. Weird. I wonder if they got psychedelics in the afterlife. Probably won't need them. Okay. Can we come out? I'm just going to warm my hands. Oh, that's better. Here's my wife. She's ginger. Also, she's naked. Could you hide your eyes? I'm the Lord. I can see all naked women anytime I want to. Probably not true. There he is again. And he is got cross and he's fucking up. What? Ooh, I don't know. Something with a tail anyway. Hairy Mary's there. A demon with a bit of wood. And a load of partially clothed people. You could, I don't know. I don't read the Bible, so I'm like, sounds properly trippy. Shit. Sirens making really bad noises, messing your head up. Like banshee bird, Japanese banshee bird. Wah! Like that out of the sky. Is Henry? That's really, really trippy, isn't it? They put the Phoenician configuration with the swords and everything in a cross pattern behind the cross. I have seen that before, though. I've seen that before. So, yeah, it sucks all that, don't it? Isn't it miserable? Oh, look, skull and crossbones. I wonder what they're doing there. And the date on here is 168. No, there's like 4 numbers. You don't get 4 numbers in a date, do you? Just like 18619. Can't be sure, though. I don't know what that is. But anyway, sad story, you know. Look at this. I'm going to show you some unbelievable architecture now. Like wow factor. This is in Belgium. I think it's in Antwerp. I have seen that. I remember seeing that. I think it's in Antwerp. Ghent. It's in Ghent. I've seen that. So let's have a look at these. So all of them are in Europe, actually, but they are amazing bits of architecture. Giant castle gate. Whew. Try blowing that up. You'd have a real big problem with that. Solid bit of stone. That was in Dresden before they had a visit. 5 million bombs. All the juice is on top, as you'd expect, and it's all top heavy, all up in the air. So 333 watching. That's nice. That's a nice number. Phoenicians. Covering up the whole building. This one's unusual because there's like deformed windows on the sides. It's a whopper, isn't it? Looks like a rocket. Look at this thing. Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, feel free to share this out. I'm going to show, after these images, I'm going to zip through quick because it's going to be 10 more minutes as I need to get out of this chair. And I'm going to show you some of the events that are happening. And I'm glad that you were here today. Nice thematic pattern. Size of that compared to its environment, though. Everything's just tiny, and this thing's just out of the ground. Seems to be missing spires here and here, though, and this thing's been added later. That thing burnt down on Notre Dame Cathedral. I think that's the top of a building. It's pretty good, isn't it? That was going to cross the Rhine, and they've taken all of this gate. This bit still exists, but this bit does not. They've taken this away. I think the war had a bit to do with that, though. This is in Cardiff. This is the Royal Hotel in the past. And all of this, you see on the roof, the statue, whatever that is, have all been taken away in the modern day. There's none of that exists. Why would they take all of that away in the wrought iron? Well, we know why, don't we? Yeah, Cardiff's quite an interesting city. Look at this. George is like having none of it. He's like, this guy sucks. Literally sucks. Oh boy. I know a joke about Joan Collins and Twixes, but I wouldn't be able to say it on YouTube anyway. Here's Joan Collins in the 1960s. Now, she's already a massively famous Hollywood actor. She's been in some unbelievable roles and is actually one fantastic actress. And she's still around now. I think she still has Toy Boys as well. She's famous for Toy Boys, like as well, but they're like 80 years younger now. So, but yeah, fucking hell. Right, let's have a look at Liz Hurley. Or Huey. Liz Hurley. There's Liz Hurley and her son. Okay, now that's scary, isn't it? Look at that scary fucking face. It's like, will you join my coven? It's like, no, man, they all look like you. Here is a Tartar map. You can see the Tartar China's Tartar out of a Kirschner book, and all it shows you is giants in Tartaria. This is Tartaria, Chinese Tartaria. They are loaded. Big fruits, big everything in Tartaria because of the vibrational quality. Everything grew big. They got strange deities here, though, and some heads, but, you know, don't hold that against them, shrunken heads, you know. So, yeah, Holocaust means burnt offering, doesn't it? Weird. It doesn't fit the context of what this is called, the Holocaust. I think the first reference, I may be wrong, was it to do with Cain and Abel? Maybe somebody can fill me in comments for the origin of that. Pyro something or other here. Some technology from volcano. So I hope they weren't showing up in Antiquity, because that would have freaked me right out. So, oh, Jesus, that's it. No more drugs for me. There he is. Anastasia Kirsch, probably the last. He's a Jesuit, though, but he had the last good information in this place, and he was happy to share with us. Is that the biggest pearl in the world? I think it is. Mogul. He's doing all right, isn't he? The Emperor. Wow. Tartaria is rich. They got a lot going on. So there he is. He's the Jesuit. I've got the Jesuit symbol there. And this is after Loyola and all of that affair. So he definitely had some of the real information. This is at Ohio State University. What's it doing in a load of mud? Just it's in mud. Saying. Right, there's no people around in this street, is there? This is the a railway station in Paris. Something du Nord, North Station. But there's no one around. It's early in the morning now. Wow. So let me know if you've had your mind blown tonight by any of these pictures in comments. Please do comment, guys, as I do read them. This is under Constantinople, ancient aquifers that have been under there since apparently the Byzantine times. You can visit them. Apparently. 10-foot giants explorers discovered in Mexico, right? So an American captain and an Englishman returning from a successful search of legendary Spanish gold mines reported the discovery of bones of race of giants who towered more than 10 feet in height. The two men said they discovered what was made in a great burial mound in mountains southwest of here and state of preservation. And he reckons that they existed 500 years ago, according to Reuters. Okay. That's in Quebec. And there is no need in the antique world to build buildings so unbelievably massive in the days of horse and carty. Days of horse and carty. Just makes no sense. One of my favorite pictures is of the exposition in Paris. It gives me a vision of how the world could look and how beautiful it could be with air balloons and the whole atmosphere of it all. Oh, wow. So, yeah, urban graffiti sucks. That got to go. I've seen my manifesto. Ooh, if this could have cleaned the place right up, you won't even recognize it. It's going to smell beautiful. Look at these. That's a noise they make, but they are in Armageddon, aren't they? Because everything in this area is completely blitzed and they're just left over, aren't they? Survivor of a reset, an old world antiquity. So yeah, this is a regiment of Welshmen who served in the Spanish Civil War. You may or may not have known. Against Franco's forces. Here's a Welsh boy there, served for Spain. And there's the Welsh there in Spanish Civil War. Who knew? He looks very Welsh, that guy. Phew. And this is a great memory for me. This was an old Tatarian hotel called the Centre Hotel in Cardiff. Had many a fine meal in there. It burnt down, I think it was about 2005, around that time. Now they got a shitty one of those new horrible hotel things there. It was fantastic. Old world, this corner, everything I remember. This statue here is actually of my ancestor. I know it's weird to say, but it is. Look at the old trams we had, electric. Now we got them stinky, horrible buses. So yeah, good memory for me to see that. It was a rotunda building, it's like circular building, and it was really posh in there, really lovely. So yeah, this is took on last week, I think it is. So yeah, crazy as fuck Donna, who was dancing at some sort of shitty concert in Coachella, whatever it's called. That's Jenna Davis. Jenna Davis is a bloody big girl, isn't she? Compared to Madonna. Now, I appreciate the women come in all shapes and sizes, guys. Okay. But fucking hell, Jenna Davis, I didn't realize she was that big. Like, really big. Or is Madonna gone really small? I don't know. Burnt bricks, Jane. I think so. Here's the Australians. And they are in World War One. And they are going to go to the first day of the Battle of the Somme, which is in July 1st, 1916. And probably a good chance that most of them will be gone by 11 o'clock in the morning, because 60,000 men fell that day. It was the biggest loss in British military history. 29,000 by 11 in the morning. Dead, so they say. I don't know, they can come up with that figure. And here is the build up just before. So you can only imagine and wonder how many of them made it through the Battle of the Somme. The answer, a small percentage. So it's like literally like purging of people, large amounts. How is this in Tampa, Florida, guys? How beautiful is that? It says Tampa Bay Hotel in Florida. It's Moorish. It is literally Moorish Ottoman hotel in Tampa. What's it doing there? Look at this. Look how beautiful that is, though. Antiquity and everything. Oh my god. Yep. In Tampa. Who knew? So yeah, I posted this yesterday on my community page, guys, and it's the Palace of Fine Arts, 400,000 square feet, and apparently took 2 years to build. Completed 1893 in Chicago, part of the Chicago's World Fair, and to me, it looks like a post-apocalyptic building. It is old, dirty. How is that built? Temporary projects like plaster of Paris and all of that, and they're only there for like a tomato season, and then it all disappears. It's dirty already. It's ancient, man. It looks like the ancient world, and it's in Chicago. Do you honestly think that is a leftover of the exposition? 400,000 square feet of space. And like just add Antiquity because they didn't even need to do that, did they? But there you go. They're just having a laugh with the narratives. I can't look outside. Look outside. There's all big piles of shit. And this thing is dirty and old. Old world building. Inside. Columns stinking dirty. Everything is stinking fucking dirty because it's all been there post-apocalyptic. So in the film Clockwork Orange, you can see that they are in the Moloko drinking the milk, and it says on the wall, adrenochrome. That's what's in the milk. That's why they went off on a weird one in the movie. If you have seen or have not seen, I love this. Holland. On the canals of Holland. So, I got to the end, thank God, because I am dying on my ass. So, P Tracks, good to see you, my man. Flat thumbs to Professor Mill. Welcome. Okay, I'm coming back. So, yeah, lots to look forward to. I'll just give you, excuse me, a quick rundown. We've got the Soulstice coming. You may have seen that post on my channel this week by Steve Faulkner from Spacebusters, and they're going to have more speakers, I think, as well. But you can see there's a good few there. Mark Devlin's there, and Steve Young, awesome Dr. Steve Young, and yeah, he's doing a bit of DJing. So we're going to be like, hopefully a bit of drum and bass or whatever. Eclectic, I'm not even bothered. So we're doing that, and Guru Gathering is happening in September. That's all of the truthers gathering in Spain to listen to music and get hammered. And then there's Girtdog gathering as well, which I'm going to be speaking at myself and doing a health workshop. And that is happening in August as well. There's other stuff happening as well. I'll give you a rundown on it all as and when it happens. So that's a tidy little festival, that is. I'm looking forward to the Girtdog. I like a good festival. The small ones are always the best. And there's no Glastonbury this year anyway. So there's that. Steve Illich is going to be playing there, which I love. I talk to the trees and people like me. No, I think he sung Hurdy Gurdy Mushroom Man as well, which is really good. Hurdy Gurdy Mushroom Man. So yeah, he's like the original Glastonbury sort of hippie, isn't he? So that'd be really good. So that's what we're doing. That's coming up. Tickets available down below. If you're interested in getting a Rife machine, that's on my last video, linked there. What was this going on? So I could have added chat, I think I will there, but I just didn't want to bugger up them groovy images. So would you or would you not agree that a lot of them were mind-blowing images with wow factor? Well, that's why it's been called the Absolute Juice tonight. Anyway, I got to get going. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you do enjoy my content, guys. I'm going to be back in a day or two, as I always do, midweek posts, and keep an eye on my community page. I need to do more shorts. Monotarget gold, indeed. And is Mana a man? I think it's probably Kalala or something along the lines of algae. Crafty Kim, Clockwork Orange, disclosure of MK Ultra. Oh my God, that's how you think of when you think of MK Ultra. Is him getting vidied, his eyes are open, and the drops of LSD. And Vaughn and Vibes. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Frizzle Hippie, Charge Plasma Mana. And oh, lovely Polish visitation queer. And Hippie Shake, thanks for being here, Hippie. Thanks for helping everything. And thank you, lovely person. I read a book when I was age 11. My first book I read, proper book, I think, was Three Musketeers. I loved it. Loved the Three Musketeers. Alexandre Dumas, who was a soldier in the Guard with Napoleon. He was a black man as well. Not a lot of people know that. Alexandre Dumas was black. There you go. We know now. We know now. Learned a lot on you today, didn't we? Anyway, I'm going to get going. Okay. Poop-de-dooped. Poop-de-dooped. Okay, thanks, Skinflint. Thanks, Bob's in the house. I've seen him there. Thanks for the literal linking ups. Love, love, love. Henrietta from Sweden. Oh. And namaste to you as well. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jackal. And I'm going to put the kettle on. That's what I'm going to do. Polly, put the kettle on. Hi, Miles. Good to see you. What's going on, Skinflint? The show is 2.5 hours. Great show. Okay, well, I'm glad you're all happy. That's been my effort for today. I got to pack this in. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Healing beings from within. Thank you, Bob. That's what we're going to do. Corin's in the house. Good to see you, sweetness. And much love to you as well. Okay, Wiggly Flat Wolf. I got to dive off, like I said. And I hope you enjoyed the show today. I thought them war photographs. I don't usually show a lot of World War II, but they were special. So I was in two minds. It was like, they are pretty heavy. But I'm guessing it's a history channel. I got to, show history. And there's a few in there, clues, man. So they're bullshit narrative, I think, anyway. Make your own minds up, though. Thank you. Okay, we're finishing on a note of peace and love. Bypass Martin's mods and lovely chats. Thank you, Crafty Kim, darling. Okay, we're going to get going. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Magavelli. Okay, really fun thumbs. See you on the next one. Stay groovy. Thank you, Hippie. Thank you all.